Engage. Good evening, everybody. It is what, May 7th, 2026. Oh Lord, it's summer now in Florida, and joining me tonight is, of course, the Fluno and everyone's favorite, G Canada. So we are here, and we're going to celebrate my 50th. It's not really a big deal. It's only 50 shows. It's not like 500 shows or 300 shows. It's 50 shows, but at least it's 50. So yeah, I've had a very busy couple weeks, and it's been because I've had a few videos that people kind of like, and I'm a little happy about that, thankfully. And I just haven't been able. I how can I even put this? It's like I've been trying to work on a 300G. I'm gonna have a little video on it. It's a 1961 Chrysler 300. Hey, Sue M, how you doing? And the thing about this car is it's owned by a guy. It's sort of like our friend Fluno. He doesn't know how to do anything on cars.
Okay.
And so he has this 300G, which, if you're not familiar with a 300G, it has a cross ram on it. So the carburetors are sitting in the fender wells, and they're very, very far apart. And I rebuilt the carburetors for him on it because they hadn't been rebuilt in, I don't know, 100 years. And the thing is, somebody put an MSD on here and then they didn't do anything. Like, I don't know how they timed it. Everything on this car is just wasn't done correctly. And it's been really frustrating to deal with. And it actually leans into the whole video I just did on who's gonna fix these cars. And it's like, it's suckers like me that are gonna do this, because it's really and it's not hard though. See, I was trying to show him it's not hard. It's just you have to be patient and kind of just follow along. They have manuals, and you can just follow along. And the thing is, he texted me the other day, it wasn't idling well. So he started messing with the mixture screws.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how that happened. And I'm like, put them back. Please don't touch those. Don't touch those. Well, I turned in the idle screws. Please don't do that either. because if you start opening up the idle too much, it'll start dumping gas in from the vacuum at idle. And it's like, no, we don't want that either. And that's why I had to advance the timing isn't advanced enough in this car. So if you advance the timing, you get more idle. And so that's going to be tomorrow. Oh yeah. And I have to cut the fuel lines off and replace them because somebody with the strength of a gorilla put them on. I literally rounded every last one of the bolts. Getting it apart was a challenge. I actually had to take one of the carburetors off with both the fuel lines attached to it.
I have to admit, I'm not familiar with the carburetor setup that you're.
I will. You know what? There. I can show you a picture of a.
That'd be cool.
Yes.
A reason for that? Was there a reason they engineered it that way?
Yes. Chrysler engineers were insane, and they found out that longer rams, like longer intake, runners, ended up making more power because the pulse waves were better timed. So that's how you ended up getting tunnel rams. Is from Chrysler's engineering. And this stuff it's insanity when you look at it. This is a good picture of one. Okay. This is what I'm dealing with when you crawl underneath the hood of this car. Is that pretty? That's not that clear. I'm hoping those be clear. This one's clear, right?
Are you familiar with these, Fluno?
I know of them, but that's why I even asked about I've always seen them, in pictures and videos, and thought they were very unique. And obviously, there's usually a rhyme to a reason. But
what is
but
that?
I never knew
that
why.
That is a Chrysler cross ram. That is a long cross ram.
Yeah.
And It is absolutely insane to work on, because the problem with this setup is that these are great when the engine's above 2,000 RPM, because it sends the pulse wave down. The fuel goes down, then the valve closes and the pulse wave comes back to suck down the new one. So it makes the fuel flow better. The car is ungodly amounts of torque at 3,000 RPM. I mean, this thing, I think it's a 413. I think it's over 500 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000 RPM. I mean, this thing's a beast. But the thing is, at idle, these are so far away that getting the fuel to flow to them properly is not easy. And here, they have an anti-stall little dash pot, because when you shut them down, the runners are so long that if you don't goose it with some gas, it'll stall, because the runners are so long. Once you turn off the tap, it takes a second or two to actually get the power back into this thing. And it is just it is pure tuning. This is just like, it's a little bit of a dark art. I mean, this is not straightforward. And these are they're either 625s or 650s. So you have a lot of carb.
I mean, it sort of reminds me of the old British cars where you had like the twin SUs or the twin Webers. And I mean, those were always inline. You know what I mean? They didn't have that cross like that. But I honestly, I had no idea that Chrysler even did this. How many years did they run this in their cars for?
They ran this. The cross ram setup was run from the late 50s until 63, because then 64 too. But then when the Hemi came out, they in the 440, with the Hemi, they just did inline dual quads.
Yeah.
And the 440 just had a single quad in the Chrysler 300s. But this is a Chrysler 3. I mean, this was the Mac Daddy car. This was, the equivalent of a Rolls Royce. The 300 was a really top end car at this time, and that's why it had such an exotic engine in it. It's an animal. I mean, this car is an absolute animal. It has 370 that advertised 375 horsepower advertised, but it has much more than that. It's scary, actually.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'd never seen it before. I hadn't had it explained to me, and I really didn't even know that they had it. So thanks. I guess you learn something new every day, man. That's really interesting.
Hence the Banker's Hot Rod.
Yep, it is known as the Banker's Hot Rod, and it is. The funny thing is, in 61, seatbelts was still not a thing. Even on a Chrysler, they still were not a thing. And this thing has 4 drum brakes on it. And I fixed the carburetors, and it had rained, and it just stopped. So he's tooling around on the road, and I think he was doing at one point. He was wet out, and he's like, neighborhood roads, and he's doing like almost 50 miles an hour, and I'm just like trying to crawl underneath the dash, because I'm a bad passenger, and this thing is scary, literally. And it has a Sure Grip in it too, from the factory. Every last one of them came with a Sure Grip.
Well, they had to, with that much power going through it.
Yeah, there was no way around. And 15-inch wheels. Think of this, in 1961, this thing had 15-inch wheels on it.
And that's the problem, right? Like, you can get into a Tesla. I mean, I drove a Tesla 3 one time, and the wheels were so big on it, even with all the power in it, it didn't spin. And it was just rear-wheel drive. You know what I mean?
It's not exciting.
These tires were so tiny on these old cars that you would just rip them to shreds. That's how I went through, rear end after rear end on old Mustangs and stuff like that. And you just peel through them.
Wow. So some guy in New Orleans, oh crap, I wish I could get over to that show, has one in a 69 Coronet, according to Jonathan Scott. Wow, I'd love to see one of these in a Coronet. Holy crap. The big problem, now here's the problem with this, is that to do anything on either bank, you have to take the intake manifold off. So to do valve cover gaskets, do exhaust manifold gaskets, hell, well, the plugs you do from underneath because you have to. But anything else on top of the engine, these come off. So you're taking these off every time. There's no water running through them, thankfully. They're a dry intake, but you're still having to take all that crap off. It's not the best.
Here's a question, Dennis. Does it have swivel seats?
Yes, it does. It has 2 swivel seats.
Yes, automatic, open and close, right?
61. They went away from automatic because the 60 with the automatic was actually a safety hazard because if you open the door, you swiveled out. So if you're trying to back the car up and you open the door, you actually swiveled out. So they're like, yeah, maybe we should manually make this happen. It's a great idea. This is a little dangerous though. Even back then, they went, yeah, it's a little dangerous.
Don't mind that steering wheel hub, but this is dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, you mean the solid steel dash?
Absolutely, it's wonderful with that great lighting. The luminescent lighting is amazing.
Oh yeah, they have what's it called? The luminescent.
Yes, a luminescent. Yeah,
the luminescent
glowing
lighting.
phosphorus, basically. Yeah.
So Canada, the lighting in this car is really wacky. Is that it goes and it's based on like phosphorus being heated, and it's green. It's just this weird weird kind of glow to it, and it's not like anything else that's actually been you would ever have seen in another car.
Because do you have some interior pictures of it?
No, I have some video, but I found one because it wasn't dark enough. It has this thing is it has to actually be dark to see these, which is really interesting.
Like I said, I am completely unfamiliar with this car.
Yeah, this is
amazing. Yeah.
So here's what it looks like.
Look at that.
And it lights them up, and they individually light the pointers. They all get individually lighted. Everything here has this glow to it. So it actually makes the dash glow. So it's not floodlighting, it's not backlighting. Nope. It's kind of like the dash itself is.
And that's in the late 50s, early 60s that they're doing this.
Yes,
that's
Chrysler was
phenomenal, man. That's 65 years ago.
Yeah, Chrysler was crazy. Yeah. I mean, Chrysler's engineers were insanely good. Unfortunately, all this great engineering was so expensive that that's why they went bankrupt in the late 70s.
And Dennis, if I'm correct, you can't really tell in the picture, but isn't that like a 3-dimensional dome where the gauges actually are staggered out in front of you?
This gauge is closest. This one's a little farther away, and this is the background. Their speedometer is the background.
Load in front of you.
Yeah,
that's absolutely gorgeous.
It is. It's great, and they have a tachometer that's down here that also glows, and his doesn't work because you put an MSD in, and it's a mechanical drive. And I can't find it. For the life of me, I can't find an MSD with a mechanical drive.
I take it it's automatic, right? 3-speed automatic.
Yeah, it is a push button automatic. So you have the three.
I have seen those. Yep.
And it has no park, because back then the original 727, because it's one of the original 727s, had no park, had no parking pawl in it. So literally, you put it in neutral and pull the brake on.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Let's see. Here we go. Jonathan Scott. Always curious about if the high voltage behind the electroluminescence lighting cause interference with monoelectronics. That's a good question. I would imagine that it would mess a radio up. I mean, it's pretty high current. It's on really thin wires, but it's high current, low. It's like spark plugs. It's high current, low amperage.
Well, it's great comment he brought up, because I just happened to watch a video on this, which I've known about this system for the lighting for a while, but they explain in the video of how they had to make the current, again, futuristic thinking. Yes, he's exactly right. It messed things up. So there's like a certain box, or, pardon that layman's term, but there's like basically a voltage regulator style system that then it's like a relay, I believe, that alters it for the rest of the dashboard.
Yeah. But the thing is, it is stepped up. I mean, it's some high voltage to make it actually work. And but it's amazing how Chrysler went from this to what I have, which is basically floodlighting. I mean, it's amazing how it changed within 10 years, how they went to basically some of the most bottom of the barrel lighting you can have. Because on my car, even with LEDs in my car, it's just really weird looking. It's just, yeah, it's not
Is
the
yours backlit? Is yours backlit or front lit?
no, it's front lit. The
Oh.
What,
Challengers.
you went to LEDs in your car?
Oh, the dash. Yeah, actually, I think I have a picture. I have a picture
Oh,
of
that's
it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Just easier? Using
Oh
less.
God, I don't have to
current?
ever change them. To
Oh,
change a
that's
light
the thing,
bulb,
yeah.
to change a light
Oh.
bulb in that car is hell. It's literally hell. And I'm like, I'm never doing this ever again.
Yeah, and
I'm
an LED, it's a guarantee you'll never have to.
Yeah, I
replace
mean,
that.
for the amount of
it'll
time I
outlast you.
use that car,
Yeah.
the amount of time I actually turn on the lights at night, yeah, those LEDs will be around long after I am, because and the thing is, here we go. Here's a great picture. Oh, here's a great picture. This is the way my dash looks.
Ooh, that's actually nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, man. That's not
and
bad
everything-
at all.
And you at night, and since Chrysler has used green's pretty good on the eyes. It of course the camera made it a little more. It isn't that. It's not that, it's not glary. It's actually pretty nice, but all the little things you could see, and see the air conditioning control, see it nice and clear.
Yeah.
And I also did my tachometer. I did my tachometer the same way, where it's actually a Sun Pro, and I found out you can actually change the bulbs in there. So I put a green LED in the Sun Pro, so the Sun Pro matches the rest of my dash.
Oh.
Because I'm like, I don't want it all to be different. I want to be everything to be the same, so I can actually, it would look right at night. Because I'm kind of weird like that, fussy.
When I was young, I remember almost all the dashboards look the same, or they look pretty close anyway, right? When you start driving cars in the 80s, mid 80s,
in the
late
80s, everything looked the friggin' same. I mean, it was, oh God.
I remember the first time I got into a BMW, and it was totally different than everything else. It had the nice colors on it. It had the red. It was absolutely stunning, man. I was really blown away. Like, I still remember that, the first time I drove a BMW because of that, right?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And that was the thing when when my uncle's friend, it's 1984. So I was 13, 12. And he took me for in his brand new 318i. Oh, here's a picture of it. Brand new 318i. And I saw the dash. I'm like, damn, that's freaking phenomenal. I love it. The red background on it. It was just so, and that's why I had my E30. But the E30, I also put LEDs in, but the red, it's the same BMW red. And it's just, it looks so crisp.
What year was that 318i?
84. It was like the first year brought in. And
that probably would have been the same car I'm talking about.
Yep.
Was there a 320 at that time too?
In Canada, North America, United States only got the 318 and the 325.
So we had the 320. So it was the same car, but it was a 320, and it had, I believe, it was a 4-speed standard, right? Was it 4 speed?
No, they went to 5 speeds.
Was it?
E30s? Yeah.
Beautiful car.
Yeah, and his car, before he even left the lot, they went and they upgraded the entire suspension, and they upgraded he had a Blaupunkt stereo system in there that literally made your ears bleed, because that's a small car. And but that was the first car that literally made me realize how good handling can be. We went around the corner at like 40 miles an hour, and I'm like, holy Christ. I mean, just went right around it. I'm like, damn, this is impressive.
And even back then, I'm driving the thing going, this thing's got way more power than it says.
Oh, a BMW
even back then, they were underestimating their power by a large margin, and it was so smooth. Like, it was just so different than everything I was used to. Like, I had never driven anything like that. The look, the feel, the handling. It was a beautiful car.
Yes,
I was blown away. I might have been 17 or 16, whatever. Right, friend of mine had one.
So here's the tachometer matching everything else, and yes, my clock does work. I fixed it.
Oh, cool.
One of the few chargers that the friggin' clock works.
The clock's never worked.
I got.
What did you have to do to fix the clock?
Oh, that was a lot of soldering. So what happens is that they're self-winding. They use the 12 volts to make them wind. So they have windings in there that charge, and they take the thing and they spin it and they wind it up, and then it runs for a few minutes, then it spins and it winds up. And what happens is that the windings burn up. because it gets gummed up and whatnot. And so I had to sit there and figure out where the brakes were, and I had to lay solder. And I actually had it sitting on my bench running for about 2 weeks before I put it in the car. I have a 12 volt, and I literally sat it there and just let it run for 2 weeks because I'm like, I'm not going to do all that. To do that clock and take it in and out of that car is a freaking nightmare. I do not recommend it. It sucks.
No.
And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll do this once also.
How many miles do you got on that thing? Oh, sorry,
what?
Man.
What was that?
I was going to say, how many miles do you have on that?
122,000 now. And
you've put every single mile on that car, right?
No, we bought the car with 70,000 miles on it in 1984.
Okay, so you've had it since 84.
My uncle and my mother probably put 10,000 miles on that car, maybe 15. Then I put the rest. The rest are mine, except for the one time my wife drove it.
The one time your wife drove it?
One time my wife drove it to a car show when I had to go away on business. She took it to a car show.
Nice. Did she enjoy it?
No, of course not. And the car, of course, it didn't want to start for her and all sorts of stuff. So she did. So there's that. But yeah, so but I've had it for so long, and ever since I rebuilt it, it's been, I'd say like 12,000 miles since I've put it back together. Maybe 13,000.
You rebuilt the motor yourself?
I actually had a machine shop do it because.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to shave down heads and stuff yourself.
Yeah, because actually it was a whole story where my first engine had gotten a crack in a cylinder, and then they missed it, and I started working on this other block, and because they kind of screwed up, they ended up rebuilding the engine for me for free and did the heads and everything.
Did you sleeve it?
No. I still have that block. I actually got a fresh block, but I have the other one that could just be sleeved. It's 30 over, so I could just sleeve it and have it be a stock bore. See, that's the thing. You never throw away anything that has a crack in the cylinder. Easily reusable. Easily reusable.
I sleeved a 302, and it was amazing after that. I never had an issue with it. Never burned a drop of oil. It actually ended up getting stolen out of a yard.
Jesus.
Yeah, somebody wanted that motor that bad that it ended up getting stolen.
God damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually have 2 spare 340 blocks. So yeah, because they don't grow on trees. And
no, I guess they don't. They're getting
they
harder
don't.
to find every day.
People Gorzamas, how you doing? Thank you very much.
Dude, he was great the other night.
I loved him. He was on our other podcast. He's hilarious. He's from Germany. Absolutely just great guy, man.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I gotta tell you.
He has that little German dry sense of humor, which is just freaking awesome.
I wanted to say hi. I wanted to say hi to everybody else too, especially Sue. Sue's a sweetheart. She's always
she
nice
is. Sue's been wonderful to me.
Larry, Vintage, Jamie, everybody out there.
But I have it. So if I want to ever build another car, I have a engine I could just sleeve, because that is literally what that's my goal at this point. I'm going to keep working for this channel to have more stuff to spend, more money to spend on cars, and I want to build just a stupid drag car, 4-speed stupid drag car that I don't care about.
How much time? So you want to build a standard drag car then?
Absolutely, because why not? It's more fun.
How much time do you spend every single week working on cars, you think?
Working on cars? Maybe 6 hours. Honestly, not as much as I had. Most of the stuff is at a good place. But I spend 15 hours, maybe 20 on YouTube, on doing YouTube. I mean, YouTube actually is much more of my time than cars at this point. So
it's sort of reversed now. You used to spend 6 on YouTube and 20 on cars, and you're gone the other way now.
Yeah, I've really decided to truly take it super serious.
And congratulations! I saw one of those videos the other day. By the time I saw it, had like 86,000 views or something on it.
Yeah, already. I've put out a few very nice videos. Thanks.
Nice. That's awesome. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, and I'm happy about it, and yeah, and I have lots of new subscribers. I'm very happy. I'm very very thankful for them. A lot of people, a lot of great comments, and I actually have been going through them. It's you don't realize how hard it is once you get like 300 comments on something. Like you fell asleep and you wake up and there's 300 comments on something. It's a little hard to start trying to catch up to them. I try to catch up, but life gets in the way because like today I spent 5 hours trying to fix my computer because Microsoft is garbage. And so it was Microsoft Office, which I really need because I use that for all my stuff I do at YouTube. Like the thumbnails, I actually do a lot of that in not Photoshop. Oh my God, Publisher. I actually use Publisher because Publisher's easy. It's really easy.
It must be a great feeling though to fall asleep and wake up the next day and there's 300 comments there, as
It
opposed
is.
to, I mean, you put all this time into doing these shows, and then all of a sudden one really hits, and you got 80,000 views and 300 comments. That must be a great feeling, man. It's a big accomplishment.
It's actually a very nice feeling, and it's actually really humbling. Because it's like, okay, wow, I've actually struck on something, and I'm really excited about that. And it's just it kind of it is more humbling than anything, and it's like, okay, and then the only other thing is like I'm already working on next week, so this is it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep going with it because you have to treat it like, and the thing is it's very formulaic, and I hate saying that, but it's formulaic because like TV's formulaic, movies are formulaic. You have to, and literally I've been trying to keep in a good formulaic way to make it so it makes it enjoyable. Watch it, somebody can learn something, because it can be informative, but if you don't want to watch it, you don't care. So I'd rather do it where it's informative and at least somewhat interesting, and just with me being me. And one of the things I saw is like I have to use notes because my mind is running. When I start talking cars, my mind starts running in circles. And I need to have something to keep me on track because I can just, and if you've never edited before, if you go on a tangent and you go, and it's like 5 minutes and you got to cut it out and you're going, oh Jesus, this is going to suck. I'm like, okay. Hey, Barbara, thank you very much. 2 diesel Larry, 2 trucks are killing my free time and bank account. Yeah, that's what they can do. Yes, that's what they can do. Hell. I have, well, my daughter has claimed the convertible. It's still my car. So I have 3
Not
cars
anymore.
in a truck. Yeah, no kidding. I have 3 cars in a truck and it's kidding me. Yes, Vintage. Actually, we're going to talk about that today. Uncle Tony making a thing about First Brands 6 months after it happened. So yeah, I actually have that video. I actually have some First Brands news too. Because I'm all over this. I'm not going to let this go. There hasn't been a lot of news, and what's scary, there's no mainstream media covering this yet. It's still not there, and we still don't have any closure on any of the brands. Fram, Autolite, Raisbestos, Anco, Trico, all these companies, Drawtight, Reese, there's nothing happening. Cardone's dead. I mean, if you have a car from the 90s and 80s, 90s, or 2000s, you're screwed. They were remanufacturing everything for you. So,
there's definitely closure, just not the way you're.
Oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to chapter 7. It's literally going to go into 7 at this point because it had to. There was no way it couldn't go into 7. Being in business so long, when you have that much fraud and that much investigation going on, it's going into 7. There's no one. It's like that is toxic. Those companies are toxic at this point.
Yeah.
If I would have known there was so much money available, I would have tried to get a job there 20 years ago. Stolen away a few $1 million.
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody would have noticed it because they were stealing billions.
Yeah, that's
when you steal billions, millions don't get noticed. So yeah, it's been bad. And it's just going to get worse. And the court dates are way off. And the auditor is running out of money. He spent $7 million trying to audit this so far.
So now
think about that for a second.
Now it's going to be the accountants and the lawyers sticking their fingers in the pie, like overcharging and
No.
robbing.
Well, the thing is, his auditor is just doing his job. I mean, he's literally trying to find the money trails, but it's so complicated that they have spent thousands of hours already, and it's just literally an army of people trying to find stuff that, after, it will get up to the $7 million is pretty substantial. That's a lot of billing hours. And it's just, it's probably one of the worst crimes I've ever seen in my entire life.
Didn't you say the CEO took off though? Didn't he leave the country?
Oh no, he is free on his own reconnaissance. He does not have a passport. He cannot leave the country. He is stuck. And they are yeah. And honestly, for him, I wouldn't want to be out in public because there'd be a lot of very angry people. There's a lot of people that lost their jobs that I don't know if he'd want to meet them, because that would probably be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't
want to meet any Luigis out there.
No. He may be, he may end up being in a duffel bag. So,
or he doesn't want to be the CEO of Renault in 1978. Or that's not funny, but that's what happened. That's basically what happened. He closed down plants, and someone took it upon themselves to say, whatever.
We're not happy with you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did invent the guillotine, right? I mean,
that is true. The French did make the guillotines.
They have a long, sordid history of, taking out the ruling class. So that's nothing.
Well, guy was that guy was a dirtbag. So I mean, he literally ran the company into the ground, and it just fired people. He did not take a pay cut, because why would he take a pay cut?
Why not?
Why not? So, all right. So let's start with this crap. All right. So this is First Brands. So some First Brands employees get a temporary reprieve from job loss. So out of 4,000 have already been fired. So 750 are going to get a temporary reprieve. They going over they had 6,000. So out of their companies, they own 20 brands, including iconic names Fram, Lubrifanner, Trico, Rebessis, and employed 6,000 in the U.S. alone. But workers in Cleveland, Ohio, I mean, I feel pity for them. They live in Cleveland. So
yeah,
this is good stuff. The corporate office, as well as facilities affiliated with Toledo Molding and Dye, which people don't talk about. This company makes plastic pieces, like for the insides of cars or under the hood. This is what this company makes. And nobody's been talking about this company. They've been keeping this company running, but this is what is supplying the OEMs like Ford and General Motors. They're the ones that make the dash inserts and all that little plastic pieces. That is what's made there. This is what this company makes.
I know the Magna stock had taken a really bad hit, a huge company up in Canada. Yeah. And in the last, I'm looking at it right now, since February 2025, the stock's up about 71%. Yeah. And I'm guessing it's got a lot to do with First Brands taking a huge dump, right?
Oh, absolutely, because they're filling the gap, but they're charging whatever the hell they want at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all right. I had to buy an air filter for my Charger. It's the first time I bought an air filter for that car in like 15 years. And I bought a Wix air filter at O'Reilly. It was $22 for a regular paper air filter that we used to just throw away after about 6 months, just throw it in the trash. Yeah. Holy crap.
And I'm looking at the Magna quarterlies from last year. They were all way above what they thought, what the expected profit was going to be. Their profits have jumped like crazy.
Absolutely.
So if it wasn't for all the tariffs, maybe we could have some extra jobs up here in Canada from
it. Yeah. You guys got to fix your own problems. We got enough of our own.
We can't fix ours.
we can't even fix ours. I'm not going to try to fix yours.
Yeah, sorry.
Champion Labs, which is, which they did a lot of what did they make? There was a lot of research and development there. I thought they were going to get fired. So they're going to go through May 31st. So they make it through Memorial Day. So now the other part of the thing is the intellectual properties are getting sold. So Anco, Trico, Fram, and Premium Guard Inc. are being sold to Walbro, who make all the small engine fuel system parts. You see them all the time, carburetors. They make the stuff in the back of like O'Reilly, whatnot. They have that whole thing. That's Walbro. They also make fuel injection parts, plastic injection molding, and related components across power equipment, power sports. So they're going to buy the intellectual property. They already have the machinery to make this stuff, so they're just going to just make it, slap a name on it, and be done with it. Hopefully, the quality goes up on like Fram because it's garbage right now. Here's another interesting little twist. So they are suing. The company had audited First Brand's financial records since 2021. Has been sued by Black Diamond Credit Strategies Master Fund, part of Black Diamond Capital Management. Black Diamond alleges BDO should have caught out on the financial mismanagement of the First Brands if it, as it says, complied with general accepted auditing standards, and generally accepted accounting principles. BDO's last audit of First Brands was in March. The company filed for bankruptcy in September. Whoopsie. So what these brothers did is that they suckered these other companies to invest in them and give them capital. So this wasn't a what do you call that, a capital company themselves, but they went and they got investments from other companies and sold them like bonds or just sold the debt to them, or they didn't really give them piece of ownership. And so what happened is that they showed these great financials the entire time, hiding billions of dollars in debt. And so these suckers come along and they dump money into the company, and now all that money's gone. And to give you an idea, what they have sold so far equates to about $20 million. That's what they've sold. They lost $15 billion. But they have sold so far they have sold $20 million worth of stuff. I don't think the math adds up there for some reason.
This is like a massive shell game. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When you start to get into the numbers, it's phenomenal how much money is gone, right?
I wish I was back in college, like a couple of years, and was in my business classes, because this would be a case study. Literally, this is probably one of the greatest frauds ever brought in business in the United States. This makes Ponzi look like a piker. Well, this is real crime. I mean, this is crime.
You want to know what the difference between this and what's his face that just got thrown in jail, the New York City guy who stole all the money from everybody.
Oh, Madoff.
Madoff. The difference between this and Madoff is that you don't have a bunch of celebrities involved. So no. it's not as
That's
forward.
a great point.
You're not worried about Kevin Bacon losing millions and everybody else, right? Like that got suckered in.
It's regular folks.
Yeah, it's regular people, people that are working, people with jobs. And then they were able to sucker these idiots to just come in and dump millions and millions and millions more into the company.
Yes.
And like I said, it's just an amazing shell game.
It's fraud on a level I've never seen. It literally is. This is something that should be studied. I mean, we're gonna have probably new regulations because we can't. The SOX rules came out after the savings and loan problems, and after the savings and loan, they came out with SOX, which I was, I did at an accounting firm. I actually was part of the whole thing to keep the SOX regulations. And that was separation of departments and separation of the way money flowed. And you had to have like I was in treasury, and you couldn't be anywhere near, like the investing part. You had to be completely separated, and the auditing completely separated, like physically in different parts of the building. You couldn't even commingle. And that's part of the Sox Barnes law. And there are going to be new laws made on this. I can guarantee this at this point, but they don't know yet what type of laws to make, because we have no idea how much fraud actually happened. So this isn't a private equity group. This was literally two brothers having a private company and ripping off private equity groups.
How it happened, or how exactly they did it at this point. I mean, you're saying that somebody's put in $7 million and they still don't even have a clue to try and decipher what's going on here.
So
right?
what they did, and it's pure genius. What they did is they had two sets of books, first of all. And being Italian, I truly understand that. So they had two sets of books, and what they did is that one set of books, they would have all their normal loans on there and all their normal debt, and it looked fine because they had cash flows. The other set of books, they had made loans on receivables, like invoice loans, but they didn't just do one. They did 3 invoice loans on the same invoice. Yeah. So if the invoice was $200,000,
and had they even paid the invoice yet? Have they even paid the invoice yet, though?
It's an invoice. It's a accounts receivable. Okay. So it's an accounts receivable loan. So, like, say I sold you $100,000 worth of parts, but I needed money now. I go to this place and they give me $50,000 on that receivables, and I get $50,000 now. You pay me whenever, and I pay them back plus a VIG, and then I have my money. So that's how this works. But what they did is that they went and they said that $100,000, and they went to 3 different places that they didn't know each other had it on there, and they made more, they took out more than the receivable was worth, and could never pay it back. What they would do, though, is then they would do borrowing on another receivable and literally did a Ponzi scheme. They literally had it was a big shell game, and they kept paying forward until finally they just ran out of cash. I mean, they just literally ran out of cash.
Do you think that they're out of cash, or they got a couple $100 million stashed somewhere?
The brothers stole billions, and I have a feeling that their houses, because they bought a house in California that was worth at least $500 million. It's massive. It's a massive house. And so all this real estate and stuff is going to be under question. And there's a lot of other stuff there, but there's billions of dollars missing. I really wish I could say it's billions.
So guaranteed. I mean, they've got, like, here, there, everywhere, houses that nobody knows about, safety deposit boxes stuffed with gold and cash and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
All over the place, right?
Oh, absolutely. They literally. All right, everybody, puzzles here.
And now these auditors got to try and track it down.
And that's the problem. When you do this type of crime, to track it down is friggin' impossible, because it's almost like doing your stuff in your own little code, and you literally wiggle stuff away, and to try to find the paper trail and the paper trail usually stops. So then you got to try to figure out where it went after that, because you have no way to be able to track it. I mean, in 2008, with all that, the mortgage and all the alternative investments they made off of mortgages, the federal government still hasn't figured out a large percentage of how those worked. The derivatives, they literally haven't figured it out, because some are so complicated that only the person that came up with it knows how it works. Because they were literally what they were doing was taking a mortgage and breaking it into 1,000 pieces and then selling each piece. And that's why that was so incredibly bad. So this type of crime is never easy to go through and fix or go through and solve. But these guys are going to, I mean, honest to God, if there is any justice, these guys are going to serve some hard time, because there's no way they're going to a federal jail. I mean, they're federal prison. This is crime on a massive level. And how the news is not reporting on this. Whoa, there's a cat. How the news is not reporting on this is making me mental, because this is hurting Americans. It's hurting American companies. It's not just the OEMs that receive the parts, but think of all the companies in the towns that did stuff for their production facilities. They lost a major customer. It's a trickle down on this. It's bad.
Unfortunately,
like Candace said, though, it hit the nail on the head. Sadly, it's not, and it's terrible to say it this way, but he's exactly right. It's not about celebrity. Oh no, it's about regular folks, which we should care about, but that's not newsworthy to obviously a lot of people out there, even though it's affecting far more than 100 celebrities.
Unfortunately, the news isn't the news anymore.
No.
The news is all about creating a narrative, pushing some kind of value system. There's no impartiality. There's no integrity in the news anymore. It's just about being on one side or the other, pushing one narrative or another, and things like this, which are, like you said, Fluno, are actually hurting so many people out there, is not even getting touched, right? Because they just don't give a crap. Like, they don't care at all. The news, it doesn't matter. If it's not about whatever they give about today, which could be whatever, the left or the right or whatever. I'm not even saying one or the other.
No,
they
it doesn't matter.
Don't care.
Doesn't matter.
They don't care anymore. There's nothing in the news. The news isn't the news.
No.
And like if it wasn't for Dennis, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, it took a guy with a microphone, a 22-year-old, to go and uncover billions of fraud in Minnesota, right? When the news wouldn't do it.
No, and the thing, and thing is, I'm just some idiot that likes cars on YouTube, and I'm reporting on this constantly, and it's like I'm still waiting for a news outlet to kind of go, wait a minute, this is really bad. I mean, these guys are criminals on next level. This is next level criminal. And, so far, like 4,500, I think 4,500 employees have been fired in the United States. These are not Chinese made. The only thing that was made in China, I think, was Autolite. I think Autolite, they started moving offshore, but Cardone was an American company. Raisbestos was definitely an American company. Fram was an American company. I mean, they weren't the best filters, but they were still. Carter was an American company. All those people are fired. I mean, and they're not going to get their job back. The company that plant is not reopening. It's never going to reopen, or if it reopens, it's going to be many years down the road, because all the factories and all the plants have true value, and honestly, the creditors want to get something back at this point, and because they've lost billions of dollars,
and all that's left is the real estate and the buildings, right? So
pretty much.
They're going to chop them up. You know what they're going to do? They're going to break them down for parts, and they're going to sell every part to the highest bidder.
Or they're going to try to sell the facilities to another manufacturer, but they're going to get pennies on the dollar. I mean, that's the problem. It's going to be pennies on the dollar. So you're not going to have anybody made whole. And honestly, it's going to take years for the parts to start ramping up again. Especially like Raisbestos. Nobody's been talking about Raisbestos. There has been zero talk of it. I have not heard anybody wanting to buy it. I have not heard anybody trying to get the intellectual properties. Nothing. And the thing is, Raisbestos, they have all the machining to make the old parts, because they are original equipment, brake disc, brake drums. They were the ones that, and the wheel cylinders and all that stuff. They were the ones that made it for the companies in the 60s, in the 70s. They made those parts. And that machinery is worth money. But right now, it is so tied up in it. I don't know when that manufacturing is going to start again. And that's the sad part. It may be 2 years from now before it even starts. So if you need to do a brake job, you better look for stuff now, because we're still looking for brake drums for a 66 Toronado. Still 2 brake drums, 2. That's all I need is 2. And honestly, I can't get them. We've had 5 orders canceled. 5 orders canceled.
So you order the stuff and it says yes, and then they cancel them on you,
and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't have it. Sorry, so sorry." Like,
I gotta bet people are hoarding this stuff too, and who knows how many people. Well, look what they've done with even tickets, concert tickets and stuff like that. You had entire industries that were just dedicated to setting up 100 computers in a shop and buy up every ticket that came up for sale right away.
I never, and I actually had comments. People were accusing me of saying hoarding. I said, no, plan ahead. That's not hoarding. Planning ahead is not hoarding. If you know you need to do a brake job next year on your car, get the parts for it now. That's not hoarding. That's being ready, because you're going to need it. You know you're going to need it. Just get it while you can. Hoarding is going out and buying the entire store up, which I bet people did.
Yeah.
I know that Advance, like their wall of filters and all, because they were in bed with Fram. It's empty. I don't know how Advance Auto Parts is going to survive. Advance had too much involved in here, and it is and they weren't doing well to start with. I can't imagine that this year is going to be good for them. This year may be very ugly for Advance Auto Parts. Oh, what does 20-Sit Motor over here have? Oh, about 15 years ago, I had the opportunity to speak to the U.S. House of Representatives. I hope he took a shower afterwards. Ugh. He suggested that I thank him for allowing auto part houses to exist in the first place. Jesus. He said he had some part in a bill of that. Really?
Oh, interesting.
So he was saying a guy in government was an arrogant.
Imagine that. Preserve businesses when I presume we had a capitalist market of supply. Capitalism does not survive in the United States. This is all government tied in. Pure capitalism, this would never happen. You would never have this. You can only have this happen with government. And it's hard for people to understand that. But government makes monopolies because they help them have hard to get into the business. They put barriers to entry. That's why there's no new car companies. Really, there are no new car companies. The newest real car company is Tesla. I mean, literally, that is the newest car company, and they make appliances.
We only have communism in Canada, so I wouldn't know anything.
Yeah, I know. So I'm talking some foreign thing to you.
But everything in Canada is just incredibly heavily regulated, right? Like everything. Our banking system, our telecommunications, insurance, like the regulations are stifling. And at this point, what's happened is our productivity has gone down so much because of overregulation. They've run business and investment out of the country. And now our GDP per person, which forever, like since the beginning of when they started to gauge it, ours always went lockstep with the United States.
Yep.
So U.S. went up, ours went up. If the U.S. went down, ours went down. In the last 10 years, the U.S. is up 22%, which is the most amongst G7 nations, and if you include a lot of OECD nations, it's pretty high in that also. But ours is the bottom of 30 ODEC nations.
Jesus.
Okay, ours is 1.4% total over the last 10 years. Since we elected a hard left government, and all this sort of stuff started with not allowing us to drill for oil, not allowing mines to be built, all kinds of crazy stuff that they did, right? No pipelines, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's all part of it. So 20-Cent Motors here. So I wonder if there's some shift in business regulations initiated this downfall. Actually, this is kind of interesting. A lot of these companies ended up being in trouble because of government regulation. Raisbestos, they hammered the hell out of Raisbestos over stuff that was done decades before on asbestos. And they had to pay this giant settlement that there was no thought about. Maybe the company also needs to stay in business. So they were an independent company and then got bought by Federal Mogul. Then Federal Mogul had their problems because of government interference. And then Federal Mogul had to spin them off. And then that's how they ended up in First Brands. And it basically First Brands bought every distressed company and basically put them together and made one bigger conglomerate out of all these companies that literally were train wrecks when they got them. And instead of focusing and making them better, they basically were using them as cash registers.
They just snowballed it. And it
absolutely.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
I mean, the only other thing in the automotive world the same is when Fiat merged with Peugeot, two incredibly shit companies making one giant one. And Stellantis makes garbage. Example,
what? British Leyland. That's really what this is. British Leyland.
Oh my God, British Leyland. That
is almost that's a near rhyme of exactly what they tried to do. Take a bunch of small companies, some good, some bad, and really ruined everything.
They actually, British Leyland destroyed the British
Well,
car
yeah.
manufacturing. They destroyed
Absolutely.
it. They literally 100% ended it. That was the end.
Yes.
Britain's the king of overregulation. Where do you think Canada got it from? I mean, this started in Britain in the 70s and 80s, and Canada has followed through in it now. Like it's so absurd. And you can see it. Like it's not like you can say this is right, you can say it's wrong. When you look at the actual numbers, they are disturbing for Canada for the last 10 years
Sad.
since this started.
Sad. Place with so much natural resources.
Yeah,
Sad.
and we can't get any of them out of the ground.
That's
We
really
literally
sad.
can't get them out of the ground. We can't get them to market. It doesn't matter. Nothing can get
Damn.
done.
So, yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. So let's just put a button on this first brand. So this video came out, and I watched it, and I'm a little twisted on this. It's just because I'm Italian and we get twisted on shit like this. So, you know, if you're into classic, collector, or vintage cars, you may want to start hoarding parts. No. So he goes over and he blames private equity, which this isn't. I like Tony. He grew up where I grew up. You know, I understand the way he does things because I fix cars a lot of times like he does because that's the way I learned. I mean,
is this the guy? Sorry, is this the guy that somebody was talking about in the comments earlier? Okay,
he has a good channel and all, but you know, he was talking about this, and it's like I think I have six videos on this that are, I mean, long form, and then I have I do these lives, and ever since it broke, I've had a segment during the lives on First Brands because I just want people to know about this garbage because this is terrible. You know, I'm a little twisted that, I mean, it could have taken 2 seconds to point out that this tiny little channel has been talking about this. Just a little twisted on that, just slightly twisted on that. You know, and I mean, people try to say he does things hackly. No, he repairs cars the way I remember cars being repaired. And it's just a lot of times the way I do things because when you don't have, you know, the right tools, you make the right tools or you do things to make things work. But yeah, I was a little twisted on this video because I've kind of been talking about it a lot, and it's just one of those things. So, oh well, we'll move on. I'll do more videos on it whenever something actually happens because nothing has happened. The last big thing was Asbestos closing down. That was it. That was the last big thing was Asbestos, and that was like 2 months ago now. And I woke up on a Saturday morning and I read the news and I'm like, oh dear God, the Asbestos is gone. Like literally they closed on a Friday night. They just shut down. Told everybody have a nice day. And that was it. So yay. They when they're leaving on Friday night, they told them they're fired. Congratulations. So yeah, I'm a little twisted at Uncle Tony on that because that wasn't right. You know, take a mention. You know, if you just do a 2-minute search on YouTube, you'll find my videos. It's not hard. In fact, wait a minute, I'll go back to this because on the side of this video, let's see where it is. Carver, no. Oh God. I'm trying to find because I saw they always change things on the side, but on the side was one of my videos on First Brands. It was just hilarious in the little feed on the side, but it's okay. So let's just move
Dennis,
on.
real quick. I just want to say real quick, and you know, I keep up with many things automotive, my own niche stuff, this and that, but I'm always searching around and I have my favorites in it, but always looking for new things that might pop up. And until you started talking about this, I knew nothing about this major catastrophe. I can tell you all about Tesla veering away from the X and the S. I can tell you about so many other things right now going on, whether it be Cadillac's electrics or GM's V8s or anything, which is important, but this is huge. And like I said, until we started doing this, and of course I've always talked to you, but I'm like, what the heck is this all about? I never even knew about them. I know Trico, I know Fram, I know these companies, but this, if it wasn't for you bringing it home,
yep,
I've not seen one video at all about any of this. And my numerous,
it doesn't
my
fit.
universe of cars.
It doesn't
narrative.
fit anybody's narrative.
Yes,
They
right.
don't care because it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
not going to make somebody look bad who's in office. It's not going to be make somebody look bad who's on the other side. Like that's all
Yeah.
that seems to matter nowadays, right?
Yes.
It used
Very
to be
true.
all about us.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
news
and-
was
and-
about
and now
how
it
it would
isn't.
be affecting people.
Yeah.
Now it's, I mean, if Jay-Z and Beyonce lost $500 million on this, it would be on the news every single night. But 4,000 people lose their jobs at that plant. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares, right?
So speaking of jobs and whatnot, I had to have my one Stellantis thing in here because why not? So the Italians never seem to. Which one do I like better? I like this one better. The Italians never seem to know how to deal with labor because they always have problems in Italy with their unions. The UAW to hold strike vote at Stellantis truck plant over outsourcing dispute. Whoopsie. So Stellantis, I guess, is trying to use outside work because, well, they're not an American company.
Mm-hmm.
And this plant actually makes the Ram 1500, which is one of the few things that's actually selling. And they may go on strike. So I haven't seen any other news on this. I'm kind of hoping they do.
Hey, is that the Chrysler plant that the Canadian government gave them $16 billion to build?
No, this is one in America. That one is they're never gonna use that one in Canada.
Yeah,
that's never happening.
I know.
That's never happening.
No,
there's another example. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fit. We don't hear about that at all that much. No narrative.
Oh no, that one got. I've seen some stories on that because it's such as they screwed the Canadian government pretty bad. It was like how many billions? 13?
16.
$16 billion. Oops.
Well, 16 Canadian, so it's like $3 American.
Yeah, but still.
It's what, 12 billion American, 12 and a half, 13 billion American. But yeah, I mean, it's such a joke. But that's another thing. Much like the previous government tried to do in the U.S., they tried to force EVs on Canada, and it was only about building EVs, right? So that was going to be an EV plant. But guess what? In Canada, EVs don't work in winter, and it's cold in a lot of Canada. We have the second largest country in the world and a very small population, which means we don't have like charging infrastructure. Like, I mean, sure.
Well, neither do we. We don't have it either.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they do in California or something like that. No, they don't. Right?
It isn't. Trust me, there really isn't an infrastructure. It's like idiots sitting in their Teslas at a Wawa. There is no infrastructure. There is no infrastructure. It doesn't exist.
We don't have the electricity to do it.
But it's right. You guys can't burn coal.
Yeah. Oh, well. We can't do anything.
You can't burn coal. How are you going to keep these cars going without any coal? Because you can't use solar in Canada because you don't have any sun.
Oh man, we have so much hydroelectric. Like we could dam up.
Yeah, that's all you have. Yeah.
But we have massive hydroelectric problems. But the problem is now with this government, you have to do all these consultations with native people, and you have to like know if the horny toad frog of northwestern Ontario is going to be impacted by the loss of mosquito larvae, and you know what I mean? It's insane. You can't get them built again, right?
Yeah, we couldn't build the Hoover Dam today.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way we could build the Hoover Dam. Oh my God, they would literally find They would find out coyotes were using part of the basin as a nest, as a place to hunt, and they would go, "I can't build there."
As a litter box.
Yeah, I mean, literally. Yeah, because that's how silly government regulation is. Like I said, we don't live in a capitalist society. We live in a government. Basically, it's still a government-controlled. It's not even real capitalism. I don't even know what the hell to call it. But it's not
but the American economy is doing pretty good regardless, right? I mean, compared to what Canada's economy has done.
Canada, we're freaking doing aces, man. But honestly, no, it's not good. Shake Shack just came out and got annihilated because their first quarter was a disaster.
I've never been
Whirlpool. There. It's okay. It's expensive. It's $20 to have a meal. And then Whirlpool came out and lost $50 million. in the first quarter at Whirlpool because they're just getting destroyed because the cost of everything is too much and they can't jack their prices up. Like I had to buy a stove and I bought a GE, which is Whirlpool.
Yeah.
And I mean, they actually make decent products. I will say they actually don't make bad things. But the problem is, I only paid like $600 something for this stove. And I know there's no way they made a lot of money on this.
Yeah,
stove.
how are they making money if it's only $600, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an electric stove, so there's all this stuff you have to do in it. Yeah. I mean, they didn't make massive amounts of money on this thing, and I'm going, yeah, this is not this is not going to be good.
Well, so we always bought Kenmore's. Everything we got was Kenmore, right?
Sears, basically.
It's from Sears, and we know how it turned out for Sears because they were buying good stuff and selling it off, and there was just no money to be made in it.
Right.
Like you're saying, right? And Sears went out of business because of that.
Sears went out of business because they merged with Kmart. And that was another study in just really when you have two piles of poo and you bake them together, you're not going to get anything different than two bigger piles of poo. And that's what they did. They made two bigger piles of poo.
And they didn't advance with the times. They didn't go forward.
Sears completely got annihilated by Walmart and Amazon because they had no idea what they were doing and they were leaning on craftsmen, and even that wasn't enough because Harbor Freight started coming in, and I mean they just got undercut so hard that they just had no idea what they were doing, and they still had these giant sprawling stores, and it just was not going to work anymore.
And they were over diversified too. I mean, you could go to Sears and you book your travel.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I remember booking trips at Sears in the old days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, why did Sears have to have a travel agency or a restaurant?
They were Sears, all over the place.
It's ridiculous.
That's the old school way though. But at one time, now think about this: in '93, when they got, not to digress, but in '93, it was a huge news that the Sears catalog, the original Amazon, when you think about it, from the 1800s, they don't make the catalog. If only Sears would have said, "Hey, there's this new little thing coming out called the internet," because all Amazon and online shopping is a big catalog without the book. And if Sears would have actually seen the future instead of like it's 1975 with the restaurant and the Kenmore, and I'm not making fun of the product because I mean my parents had Kenmore, my dad always bought Craftsman, but they did not move with the times, and they also had hubris, I believe, thinking we've been around forever and we're not going to go anywhere. And that's a big American problem in many ways. But that's the truth. If they would have kept that catalog and just migrated to the internet over time, we probably there might be Amazon, but Sears would be the 21st century Amazon, and they'd still be around. I really believe that.
Look at that.
You're right. Yeah.
Wait, look at that. 20-cent Motors. I remember my mom using Sears to get plane tickets.
Yeah,
in the 70s.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I booked vacations at Sears.
Mm-hmm.
I booked them myself 25 years ago. Because whatever, right?
So, all right. So you want to see some scary modern technology? Sure. Why not? Let's look at some scary modern technology. Brembo is trying to redo brakes, and they're going to do brakes without brake fluid. Don't sign me up. It's okay. You can keep this. This is terrifying. So they're going to do brake by wire, but really, literally brake by wire. No fluid in it, and you're using electronics because they're saying because people that have appliances don't use their brakes. They just use the little electric motor in their appliance to slow them down. So not wearing the brakes, but of course that's wear on the motor. Using that as braking, but I digress. So they're calling this pretty. I'm confused on the Drive. Does the Drive like or hate cars? I'm really at a confused point. Does the Drive like or hate cars?
Well, my question is, would you rather use your transmission to slow down or $20 set of brake pads?
Well, use the brake pads all day long, twice on Sunday.
Exactly, right? Transmissions are expensive, brake pads are cheap.
Yeah, I mean, so they want this to be a plug and play. Absolutely not. I don't want this on any car around me. I don't want this on my car. I don't want this on your car. I don't want this on the car behind me. Because you know what happens to electronics? They fail because that's the way life is. Electronic stuff breaks. That is a car normal, especially a brake system. Because how many times you've had wheel sensors go bad, or anti-lock sensor go bad, or speed sensor go bad? They go bad, and they're just wired in there. Could you imagine now your brakes are part of this whole system, and that if you punch the pedal, there's no mechanical feedback, no nothing, and you're just hitting it and hoping that they work. This is terrifying. The announcement was light on details because this is insane, and how its fail safes are implemented, which I don't know how you're going to do that. I mean, the only fail safe I can see is if it loses connection, it just locks the brakes up, which also sounds incredibly dangerous. Could you imagine it happening? You're on a highway and it just stops you in traffic.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Seriously.
This is insanity. Brake fluid is perfectly fine. It's not a problem. We've perfected brakes at this point.
Didn't Infinity for a while try like drive-by-wire where it literally...
no, all cars are drive-by-wire. All cars are drive-by-wire now.
Really?
There is no physical connection between your gas pedal and the throttle body. There's none anymore. It's all electronic.
What happened?
I know you froze. There is no connection between the throttle pedal and the throttle body. There's no.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Man, he's just freezing on us. He's frozen.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been. It's been about 20 years since.
No, I messed up. I didn't mean drive-by-wire. I meant steer-by-wire.
Mercedes actually uses that system, but it has hydraulics. But the brake pedal isn't attached to the master cylinder. There's a servo that makes it. That yeah, I know it's just terrifying as hell. Once again, an electric part that can fail. Yes, this is also something. Okay,
I gotta make a phone call. I'll be back.
Okay, so 20-cent motor. This is exactly what it's all about. It's easier for law enforcement to break the car by wire than the pedal, as well as easy to get carjacked by somebody if they want the car. Absolutely, because that is literally what they do. Because they I'll put him back later when he's there. So this is kind of like a control thing. It literally is. I hate this type of stuff. I really do. I hate this type of stuff.
Have you seen how easy it is to steal a car nowadays? I mean, in the old days, you needed a screwdriver and you pop the cylinder out and bang, bang, you stick it in there, you turn it over. But now these guys are walking up to cars and they're pressing a button, they're getting in, they're pressing the start button and driving away. That's all it takes to steal a car. I saw actually a report a little while ago about this box that you can buy off the dark net. I don't even, I'm terrible with computers. So whatever the dark net actually consists of, and it's basically, you program in the type of car that you want to steal, you walk up to it and you're driving away from it in 20 seconds.
Yeah. Well, no, the worst are the Stellantis cars. They're the easiest ones to mimic the key signal. And they've had cars stolen right off the lot. They've had cars stolen from the factory, literally at the factory, driven out, because their cars have the worst security. Everybody was the American media was getting all over Hyundai and Kia. Stellantis cars are easy to steal. A Hellcat is not a hard car to steal. If I had a Hellcat, I would literally be friggin' disconnecting the whatever you need to disconnect in the engine compartment to make it not run, because
at least in the old days you used to have a little bit of skill, a little Slim Jim, stick it down in there, you pop the thing, you get in, you pop the like nowadays it's there's no skill involved. You just got a little computer that does it for you
if you're a hacker. So 20-cent motors, man, he's always on it. Like how Teslas get hacked through the HVAC system. They say it's only the entertainment system, but that's where there's a will, there's a way. Well, yeah, because that is actually connected to everything. They do the same thing that Stellantis does. Stellantis, actually, their center console controls everything. So it controls the radio, HVAC. It's built into your telemetry. So when that goes bad, you really can't use your car. It's a terrible system.
So what's he saying? That's how they get through, like the security on the HVAC system
Yes.
is less than the security on the rest of the car. So they use that as a back door to get in, and then once they're in, right? Because
once they're in,
connected to that one screen. Everything runs off that screen.
Correct.
I mean, there's no dials, there's no buttons, there's nothing. It's just that screen.
Correct. And you just like a computer, just like a home computer, once you find out how to get in there and what the passwords are and where everything is, you're in and you're off to the races. But now you can do that with a vehicle. And that's another thing they don't talk about. The electric appliances is that, well, hello, Fluno, I'll put you up here.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay. So the electric appliances, the theft ability on them is too damn easy. I mean, honestly, all you need is a kid with a computer. I mean, it's really not a kid with a computer. And I'm imagining it's not going to be that hard to steal it. The only thing is that Tesla tracks those cars. See, that's another reason I don't like these things. All those electric cars are tracked by the company that built them. So you really don't own that car. You're kind of, even though you're paying out the ass for it, you don't own that car. So what's happening is that they can turn that car off at any time. And that's kind of scary.
I heard that there were some finance companies in the United States. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Yes.
That were actually putting immobilizers in cars. And
yes.
If you weren't making your payments, they were shutting them down and you couldn't drive them.
Correct.
That's been around for a long time with the buy here, pay here's actually. In fact, a long time ago, I was thinking about opening my own, like 15 years ago, opening my own lot with an individual, and we were thinking about payments. And yes, there are companies. In fact, even the lot my last lot I worked on was, even though it was nicer cars, it was still technically a independent lot. And yes, there are companies that will sell, and this is years ago, so it's probably advanced now. But yes, they would actually be able to turn your car off, not like while you're driving, like it wouldn't stall in the street. It would, you turn it off, and it would when it
never turn it back on.
So the next time you turn it off, it's toast, right?
Yes, correct.
So did you work at a lot where they employed that tactic?
No, we looked into it. We looked into it, and then from there, I started looking into it, and actually was talking with a rep about this. And then again, this dream never came to fruition for probably better reasons. But yes, no, we had the lot I was at. We had talked about it. They looked into it, but we didn't really have a serious problem on most of the cars. But some of the trade-ins, let's say, that were a little cheaper and more like secondary financing. But the thing is too, but here's the thing too. If, let's say, a car gets repossessed, well, that's the bank's problem, not the dealership's problem. So, but if you're a buy here, pay here, and you're holding the note, that's actually the real. That's your problem. So that's why they were so popular, or probably still are, with the buy here, pay here's.
You know what's funny is that I'm on a lot of Bronco, groups and whatnot, and it's kind of funny. I don't know if these people, because Broncos aren't that old, so I can't imagine they're on those lots. I mean, the oldest one is like 4 years old, 5 years old. But the thing is, people have actually pulled out things from their cars. So I don't know what the hell type of dealer they're buying from, but I'm like, that's like, people are like, what is this thing? It's a tracker. That's a tracker and an immobilizer, because they're tracking and they can immobilize your vehicle.
See, I was surprised about that because I had never heard of it. I don't think that they are allowed to do that in Canada. Maybe they are and they haven't. But the first I'd ever heard about it was like just a year or two ago. And now Fluno's saying that it's been going on for
a long time,
right?
Time.
No, I had never heard of it before. I think I was watching a YouTube video and it was talking about that, right? So yeah, I'd never heard of it before. I'm learning all kinds of new shit, like stuff lately. Sorry, man.
That's okay. We can do a little bit of that. It's just none of the hard words.
The intake and the carb system on that Chrysler tonight was mind-boggling. I had never seen that before, so thank you. I mean, that's why I like Dennis so much. He knows more stuff than I could ever imagine about cars. Like, this is what he knows, right? So
yeah, this is pretty much it. Yeah, this is pretty much it.
Hey, Dennis, I want to
Yes.
piggyback real quick when you're talking about the Teslas or electric appliances being stolen. So I just found out from our buddy Dan, he's been watching videos because he really goes down rabbit holes on car stuff. Listen to this. I cannot believe this. There are videos that people film. They come home from work with, let's say, their appliance, and there's somebody parked in their driveway charging up their car on your dime.
Yep. Oh, gee, Canada knows about that.
Really? Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that a few times lately.
No way. Okay,
I've seen
Dan
some videos lately doing that.
But
Oh,
didn't you have FEVs, and you have to like take your stuff in, otherwise people were gonna like.
Oh no, they weren't charging up on my stuff. They were just stealing my stuff.
Just stealing it.
Oh.
That's the other thing. They can steal it too. They'll either charge it or they'll steal the cables.
Copper's expensive, right? So
Yeah.
what happens is you've got this nice little whatever you call app on your car. So it says, energy is cheap between 11 at night and 7 in the morning.
Okay.
So you can plug your car and say you get home at 6, just say.
Mm-hmm.
You plug it in and you set it to start charging at 11, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll charge from 11 to 7. You need, 6 hours to charge it. It's perfect, right? And what you can actually do too is if it's in winter time, it'll start the block heater. So say if you want to go out at 6 in the morning, you can actually have it up to temperature by 6 o'clock. So your motor's up to temperature, the cabin's up to temperature, it's totally defrosted, and it's comfortable to get in, and you're not burning all that gas. Like you're doing it on electricity, and you're not hard starting your motor if it's below freezing. So it's wonderful.
Want to do that. Yeah.
What's that? I don't know. We don't know. Wait, I'm so. What does that mean? No.
What do you mean freezing?
Like,
oh yeah.
No. That's actually my relatives in Chicago. Yeah. Very similar though. That's a really cool thing. How it warms everything up with electricity.
But the thing is it's a great concept, but you got to leave out your plug all night long.
Oh,
oopsie.
So people just come by and rip it off, right? Like it's gone. You know what I mean? So we stopped doing that. Like basically you got to plug it in as soon as you get home. And as soon as it's done, then, I've got cameras out there now and everything, right? So, but I mean, it gets ripped off. They get ripped off.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of button that when we had a diesel truck, because we had F-250s, when it got cooler in Florida, all right, but like even 30s or 40s, we would put the block heater on because a diesel, when it's 40 degrees outside, a diesel is not going to make any heat. I mean, it's just
it's 40 degrees outside.
Hey, it's cold. It's cold enough. It's cold enough.
That's
my wife grew up my wife grew up in Florida. Trust me, 40 degrees is a little much for her. It's a little on the much side. So she wanted heat.
Actually, it really doesn't get cold here. I mean, I've
lucky.
Gone through 3-4 winters in a row where we never even had snow. But this last winter we just had was insanely cold. Like it was I looked it up. It was the worst winter since 1977.
That sounds about right.
And I can remember in 77, like the whole city was shut down. And my dad came home and he built me like a snow fort in the backyard. It's like one of my earliest memories or whatever, right? Cool. But like, so that's why I looked it up. I'm like, oh yeah, it did happen. But that it hadn't been that cold. It hadn't snowed that much since that time. Like I couldn't even get on my front lawn because there was so much snow off of the driveway and there's like 10-foot snow drifts all around my front lawn from the driveway and the sidewalk, right?
Yeah.
So like it was brutal. It was
I had a brutal.
It
got to 25 here. I mean, one night it was cold.
Hey, all joking aside about Floridians. No, but honestly, there was like a week up here. It did not, and I don't laugh, but it was like the 20s all night, and the days got in the 40s. That's just we're just not used to that length.
Yeah, and our houses aren't built for this.
Well,
they really aren't.
Right? Heat pumps and the like.
Yeah, we have heat pumps. So if it's cold for too long, the heat pump.
I got gas. I got gas.
You bastard.
I know.
Yeah. So
my bill was great.
Jack and Rod 77 was known for a record cold and snow in North America. Yeah, I remember that because I couldn't go to school. What?
Tampa got snow in 77.
And it snowed in Bradenton. My wife grew up down in Bradenton, and it snowed there. I mean,
I think
that's south
That's
of
deep
Tampa.
south.
That's
deep.
deep south.
I've been to Florida maybe 11 or 12 times, and every time I've had absolutely perfect weather. I don't
Well,
know
you
if
should
it's
come
the
more
time of
often
year I'm
because
coming.
what?
Come on
I
down.
said I don't know if it's the time of year I'm coming or whatever. Usually we would come in March, right?
Perfect.
So
Oh, this March was not good.
absolutely perfect weather every
Yes.
March, man.
This
It was
March was
gorgeous.
miserable. It was cold. It was very cold in March. Yeah, it was cold.
It's okay.
And today
Well,
was in the it's been in the
August.
90s for the last week, so
Today was
not so
August
great. Not so
7th.
great. Not so great, no.
But I absolutely love Florida, guys. Like I
Thank
know I
you.
joke or whatever, but I absolutely love Florida. And there
Oh.
was a time I thought that maybe, you'd even get a place in Florida when I retire and spend like 5
Hey,
months
Rooney
year
has a
there.
hard-hitting question here. What's everybody's favorite temperature? Go around the horn.
70
G
and
Cat.
sunny. 70
Okay.
and sunny.
Fluno?
I would say, oh God, I compare everything to Irvine, California now. I would say low 70s in a day, mid 50s at night.
For me, I actually like it a little bit warmer in the day, low 80s during the day, but definitely 60s at night. No jacket, just 60s where it's comfortable. So that's like that's heaven to me, and dry. Like, that's like Nevada, if you go out in Nevada, like sometimes you can get lucky in December and it'll be like 70s during the day and like 50s at night it's so dry, it's perfect.
Yeah.
That,
like, I was compared to, like I said, Southern California.
I love this, Rudy. I can't believe they're answering this. Why not? Yes. Yeah, Miami had snowflakes yesterday. Yeah, that was a year. So let's I found this. This is something interesting. I did not know this. This is actually something I did not know. So I saw this article, and I want everybody to ask, who made this truck, the first ever crew cab? Who made it? Because I'm like,
Chevy to me.
Nope, it's not Chevy.
I thought Dodge actually made the first crew cab.
No, they didn't actually. That's what I thought, because I've known people that
I'm not
had
just saying
those.
that I thought it was. Huh.
And Rooney knows it. International.
Yeah, okay.
That is an international.
Good
international harvester. They did this because this was like a work truck. International Harvester made work. They made work stuff, and that's why Dodge ended up making them. And their quad cabs were for like the Forest Service and the military. So that's how they made theirs. International Harvester, a brand whose legacy still lives on in the form of Volkswagen-owned Scout Motors, which is an embarrassment at this point. The Traveler, their appliance that's never going to come out. It launched in 57 as a travel light, and it wasn't quite a traditional setup. 57 models didn't have 2 rows of seatings. Did have 2 rows of seating up to 6 people, allowing the truck to carry a full job crew and save the bed for work-related cargo. It only had 3 doors, 1 on the driver and 2 for the crew, before the 4-door cab arrived in 61. The original travel lights were also available for other for their time features, including smooth side bed instead of traditional step side, with exposed rear fenders, which I didn't realize that in the late 50s, early 60s, all of them were step side. There was no smooth side beds on trucks. Think of that for a second.
Can you go back up to the picture for a second?
Yeah, look at it, smooth.
Yeah.
It's
what? See, to me, it looked like the headlights from a late 50s Chevy. That's why I thought that.
I think everybody was kind of using that same language on the front of their cars, except for Chrysler. Except for Chrysler, because they were weird. And AMC, which of course they were weird. Let's see what else. Step sides. They made the bed narrower. The truck was built on an International Harvester A120 4x4 platform, which is a pretty stout platform, and they made 8,800 of these trucks. Chassis 57, only 17. Oh my God! So they made 8,800 of those chassis. Only 17 are travel lights. Holy crap! This is a rare car, a rare truck. So I think that's a later one. Yeah. Look at that. That's just weird. I mean, because it is.
Look
Did
at
it?
it. It's all
What?
our favorite, that ugly patina look on it.
Yeah.
Oh Christ!
I
I've
hate
had
that, man.
enough of
I
this. I've had
hate
enough of
that.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, the
My
next
cousin did a truck like that, and he's like, "Don't you like it?" I'm like, "No."
No.
He's, he does it all. He puts, thousands, tens and tens of thousands into this old Chevy truck, and he's like, "Don't you just love it?" I'm like, "No." He's
No.
like, "What do you mean?"
No.
I'm like, "Dude, you didn't even paint it." He's like, "It's patina." I'm like, "Yeah, I
No.
know what it is." I
So
said, "It doesn't look like it's painted. It looks terrible."
So this is the Dodge one, because you could tell it's the Dodge one because literally they just took the cab and just put the back on top of it because it's
Right.
cheap. So they just cut. But these was a 2-wheel drive. The D's are only 2-wheel drive. The W's are 4-wheel drives.
Hmm.
And I knew that before I read this article. It's so weird. And 65 is when the F-250 finally had it. And Chevy didn't make one till 73.
Huh.
Wow. That's amazing. None of those half-ton trucks got true crew cabs until the beginning of the 21st century, which is what I have. Dodge's horrible quad cab, which is not very good. Explorer Sport Track. That was actually a neat little vehicle, which I wish Ford had been able to continue forward with because it actually was pretty smart.
I loved my Explorer, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it was a
make
good
fun of
thing.
it all the time. I had that thing for like 18 years. I loved it.
It was a good little
thought it
Sport
vehicle.
was
Track was a
great.
good little truck.
It was
Maybe 20 years actually. I had it
because it had just enough bed for somebody in the city to use to put stuff in when they go out the hardware store, put it in the back, or to go buy nursery, put plants in there. But it wasn't gigantic. It was just big, and it was no bigger than an Explorer, so it was easy to park. Unlike a pickup truck, which I can attest is an absolute pain in the ass to actually park.
And you could get the optional bed extender, which flipped out to give you an extra 3 feet.
Yes. It was a great little. I mean, those are a great little vehicle. I'm surprised. I haven't seen many of them. I'm surprised people haven't started collecting them because they are unique.
Today, ironically.
You saw one? Holy crap!
Like an 04. Like it was like one of the original,
Wow.
the first generation. Yeah, I sold a few of those. Those were, and what's great about them, they were basically an Explorer.
Yep.
Without the SUV part. That's really what they were.
And that's what made them so perfect, because the size was just right for that suburban wife, to where it's not gigantic, but she had a place to put like plants and stuff in the back, and it wouldn't make the inside of the vehicle dirty.
Oh man, I abused my Explorer so much over the years, it wasn't even funny. Between dogs going in and out of it constantly, stuff. You could fold down both back seats, and you could actually get a 4x8 piece of plywood into it, or anything 4x8, and shut the back door. So like you'd have to put up the front seats a bit, but you could honestly get 20, not 20, but probably 10 4x8 sheets in the back of that thing, no problem. Right.
Yeah.
I love that truck, man. I loved it. And like you said, it wasn't huge, right? So it wasn't ungangly. I mean, it used the same amount of gas as every truck, though. That's the only thing. No, I only got like maybe 13 miles per gallon over the life of it. But it was bulletproof with that Cologne 4-liter and the 5-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah.
Nothing ever went wrong with it. You know what happened to mine? It had the Eddie Bauer edition on it.
Nice.
So everywhere that it had the Eddie Bauer stuff, it rotted.
Yep.
Oh.
Like in all the door sills,
the cladding on the outside, it held the water.
Cladding.
Yeah. All that Eddie Bauer stuff was terrible. It didn't rust anyplace else. Like the top of the shell was fine, but like inside the doors, and the sides, skirts, and all that, the lower parts of it just rotted.
So a lot of guys on the Bronco thing swear by the fluid film, which is like it's not.
You were talking about that before.
Yeah, it's not a permanent undercoating, but what it does, it keeps it seals the moisture out of the metal, but keeps it from interacting. But you have to replace it. I don't think it's a permanent fix like a coating, but it's just kind of like putting Pam on there or something. I mean, that's literally what I'm thinking of when I see it.
And how long do you have to spray it on?
You do it once a year. I think you do it once a year,
and it just sort of wears off over time.
Yeah. Because it's like a coating, not a permanent coating, but like a coating. So And all those 4x4 guys swear by this stuff. You know, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, it's that fluid film. So yeah, Rooney 0. I don't know why I said that, but my nephew had one of those, pretty decent. Yeah, it's good. It was a good little vehicle, especially, you know, if you lived in a city, it really was kind of useful.
But you know what the problem was? Well, they actually really listened, because I remember going back 07, 08, not, I mean, it's not a problem like I look at it as a problem, but when you started getting it loaded and you got your XLT or your Eddie Bauer, this and that, well, now the price point for this quote unquote smaller truck, which was still very usable, was now actually pushing into F-150 XLT
Correct.
Lariat territory. So buy the big truck, and this one the sales just started decreasing and decreasing, sadly, because the price point, and people didn't use the common sense factor, saying it's a smaller vehicle, it's more usable for what I need. But they said, oh, more for my money, let me just go with the F-150. And that's pretty much why it was discontinued.
So Fluno.
Yes.
I was going to say there were a bunch of F-150s that were cheaper than that Eddie Bauer Explorer at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. A bunch
the
of them,
F-150s used to be cheap. Not anymore, but they used to be. So here, look at this, though. And I know exactly what this is, and Fluno, you should too. Rooney, except when I got in the passenger seat and I kicked something in that Explorer that triggered the safety shutoff. Do you know what's that? You know what he's talking about?
I have no idea.
The fuel cutoff switch.
Yeah, Ford had a fuel cutoff switch. There was an inertia switch in the passenger footwell that would, if you went into any accident, it would trigger and they would cut the fuel off, because Ford actually took safety actually pretty serious. But yeah, you could actually kick it. If you kicked it hard enough, you could turn it off and you have to go reset it. Yeah, the little reset button.
That's
on it.
Little red button on top.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is Jack and Rod. My daily is a 92 pickup a Hilux. Oh wow. Extended cab, 250 cab. Yeah, those are going to run forever. Useful. It's low. Not good for towing construction. Yeah, but it's perfect for Johnny Lunchpail. It's Taliban approved. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That and F-150s are big buys, aren't they?
Did you guys ever see the Top Gear where they tried to kill one of those?
You can't. They still had it at the end of the show. It was still there. Yeah. The Hulk of it was still there.
They dropped it off the top of a building at the end of the show, and then they came down. It was totally just flattened, and it still started.
They turned the key and the sucker ran.
Yep.
Because they're
unbelievable.
You can't indestructible.
Kill them. They are
indestructible. It had that that one had the 4-cylinder in it.
Yep, 4-cylinder diesel.
Yeah, which Toyota makes. Honestly, Toyota's small diesels are friggin' the best. And of course, unfortunately, our country doesn't understand that, and we can't get it. So,
and just imagine the fuel economy on one of those. You know, if you got a 5-speed and a small diesel in a truck on the highway, they are getting probably 40 miles per gallon or close to it on the highway on those little trucks, right?
Well, I mean, just from my experience with that Fiat with the small 4-cylinder diesel, where I drove the hell out of it in hilly Sicily, I got almost 50. And I mean, I drove the hell out of that car, and I got stuck in traffic a lot. It's a sip fuel.
I had a Sportage with a 2-liter 6-speed standard. You know, and it was, I don't know, like 160 horsepower, maybe 260 torque. It had lots of power, you know, 4-wheel drive, the whole bit. And I got over 40 miles per gallon when I was in Ireland, and I had it for a week.
Yeah,
it was beautiful. Maybe I was there a little longer than a week, but whatever. It averaged over 40 miles per gallon.
So speaking of like fuel economy and doing things, I actually found this article, and I've only seen a few of these. This is an old car. This car's 90 years old. And this was one of the first cars to use aerodynamics to be designed. Literally. Yes. The DeSoto Airflow, the first Mopar aero car, had interchangeable doors, roll down split windows. Like the windows in the front rolled down because it's Chrysler. if you were to ask the name Chrysler Corporation's first aerodynamic automobile, the Wing Warriors would probably fill the blanks at least 90% of the times, which isn't even correct. However, Mother Mopar was splicing air long before the Charger Daytona and the Roadrunner Superbird burst onto the scene. Think 35 years ahead of the fabulous homologation. Oh my God, I can't speak. Specials in the 30s, DeSoto and Chrysler rolled out the airflows. So in 34, Chrysler was Plymouth, Dodge, DeSoto, and Chrysler. And then he introduced 2 wind tunnel developed airflows. DeSoto is the only one model that year that was the airflow. So the story of the airflow begins in the early 30s, spearheaded by Chrysler Corporation engineers Carl Beer, Fred Zeter, and Owen Skelton. The trio weren't at all pleased with the car building ideology of the day, noting how contemporary automobiles were aerodynamically inefficient, essentially pushing flat, upright surfaces against the wind. Borrowing from the burgeoning aviation industry, the team turned to wind tunnel testing, resulting in the airflow design, introduced to the public in 34. And now think about this. This is during the middle of the Great Depression.
Yeah. Right.
Could you imagine if they had done this when it was actually positive times? They would have sold the hell out of these cars. Because, I mean, honestly, they got better fuel economy than your average Ford, which was a brick. I mean, this is amazing, though, that they launched it at the wrong time. Of course.
How much
and it was
did they
so
cost?
advanced looking. It was so ahead of its time. The consumer was like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, how much did they cost? I mean, I imagine they were probably, especially DeSoto and Chrysler, had to be twice as much as a Ford.
Yeah.
I always thought that DeSotos were super expensive for their time, right?
I think they were. I would have to hold on, let me go.
That almost looks like a European car. Like it looks more like a European car.
Well, yeah, that's an Art Deco thing.
Yeah.
Well, just more aerodynamic, and they're not as worried about the looks as they are about function.
Right. If I'm looking up the price of the airflow, let's see. Oh wow! So here we go. New. Oh wow. Okay, so the base price was $1,000. That is crazy. That's crazy expensive back then. 1,000.
Sure.
You
Oh
think
yeah.
so? Well, what was the
yeah.
price of like a Model A when they came?
Yeah, it would be Model A.
A few $100.
Exactly. Hold on.
I think I remember them being like $400 or something like that.
Yeah, they were dirt cheap.
I think an Oldsmobile, like in the later 30s, was like 800-ish starting. So
a Model A. Model A's were $600. So $300 difference, $400 difference is massive. That's a lot of money. I mean, that's
more than 50% more.
Yeah, and back then it was probably a month's wage.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously. I mean, because people only made it like maybe 1,000. Actually, no, you're right. It'd probably be a couple months' wages. They only made, because money was worth something back then. So, damn, that's crazy. So it was much more expensive and released in the middle of a depression, which probably didn't help. Really didn't help.
But look at how he kept moving forward, even in the darkest times.
That's true, but that was what Chrysler. They always did innovate. I mean, Chrysler did do innovation. Look at the front of this thing.
Yeah,
look how beautiful it is. And so then it was copied by Tatra, and then of course the Germans, Ferdinand Porsche, basically copied it and made the Beetle, except he made it rear engine. The airflow was abandoned the traditional boxy carriage aesthetic for sleek, teardrop inspired silhouette. The Chrysler airflow production spanned from 34 to 37, so 3 years. The DeSoto variant went from 34 to 36. Aerodynamic styling was not the only innovation. The airflow was an engineering marvel from the ground up. It featured flush-mounted headlights, which was not a thing back then. The waterfall grille, also not a thing. Split windshield angled to deliberately reduce drag, which was not a thing. The rear wheels were encased in skirts, which became a big fad in the 60s. 50s and 60s, this was a big thing. Even in the early 70s, I love fender skirts. Pain in the ass, but I love fender skirts. Underneath this, airflow utilized an all-steel unibody construction, integrating the body and the frame into one single sturdy structure. So the thing is, though, it's not the first unit body car, because that is the Valiant. The Valiant is the first unit body car. But this is this melds it together, because back then, what they did is you had that frame and you just drop. If you ever watch any of the car shows, they just take the body and drop it on there.
Right.
So this actually integrated everything together. Yeah, Rooney. Yeah, Ford 36. They started. They realized what Chrysler was onto, and I think that they started copying because they just knew, because the old man wasn't running it anymore. It was that Edsel at that point?
Yes,
what?
It was.
So Edsel Ford was going against his dad, and finally, he's trying to, because Henry Ford would have kept on making the Model T forever, but Edsel Ford basically forced them to make Model A. So yeah, that was the whole point. And actually, Edsel's what kind of drove them to make a V8, because it literally just realized they needed to go ahead. It does have some awkward angles, but for the day, it's not unpleasant. I mean, there's nothing unpleasant about this car. Let's see.
No running boards.
It was tight running boards. They're not big.
Yeah. No.
Which on those cars, the running boards stuck out outside the fenders. I mean, so this really is a pretty. I mean, even in the back, it's not terrible.
No.
So there's your trunk, folds up, lights. Actually, lights that are pretty well set up. It's not bad. Wow, this one has a tow hitch on it.
Huh.
Damn. It's the only model for DeSoto. That was not good. That was disastrous, considering it was almost $1,000 in the middle of the Depression. The Airstream soars along the airflow. The Airstream models feature conventional body-on-frame construction and traditional styling cues, bridging the gap between the conservative and modern. So here's how the inside was. They always, I guess there's a blanket on. They always had interesting interiors. But look at the way this whole dash is set up. You realize that's more toward the middle than the left. Yeah. It's just absolutely crazy.
Look at that. A friend of mine had a 41 Plymouth, and it was still designed on that.
Oh, yeah.
Triangular look, where the front seat, you were sitting literally next to the driver, and the back seat had plenty of room. This is actually a modern design where everyone almost has the same width. It's not triangled in like that. And one interesting sidebar about Edsel is he was so enamored with the European car look and the aerodynamics. That's why he created his one of custom Continental in 1940, named after the continent of Europe. And that's where that actually came from.
So here we go. In the 36 model, they had put a solid steel roof on, which actually solid steel roofs on cars was not a big thing in the 30s. Replacing the fabric roof inserts used in 34 and 35. And also it enhanced the rigidity, because now you had a solid roof on the car. So this is pretty, I mean, the fencer's mast it was a die-cast grill. Waterfall grills of previous years. The rear profile was also slightly modified, getting more defined integrated bustle back trunk. Inside the cabin, the 36 airflow featured deep tufted cloth seats, which are very comfortable. It's like sitting on a couch. And instrumentation, which were very advanced. So the DeSoto made 44,000 of these. They made almost 40, and the Airstream was almost 39,000. So they made 4,500 of the Airflows and 2,500 coupes, as they say. So the Chrysler division produced its own airflow models across several series: the C8, C9, the C10 Imperial, Custom Imperial, and the CW Custom Imperial. Total production in the Chrysler 36 was 6,200 units. So, and compared to the 5,000 Airflows, the premium Chrysler brand managed selling a margin higher number of their aerodynamic counterparts. Furthermore, the overall production of Chrysler division in 36 surpassed 60,000. which most of them were the conservative Airstreams. So basically the public wasn't really into this. Plus, they were broke.
Yeah.
So this is talking about this car. There's the front window that opens. See that opens? There's little handles there. And this car has 38,000 miles on it.
Whew.
100 horsepower, 6.51 compression. Dear Lord.
That was normal.
Yeah,
See,
not
it
a lot.
looks more like
That's
a
what my buddy's
German
Plymouth
car.
had. It was 100 horsepower, probably the same engine.
What G Canada?
It looks like a German car to me. Like it looks more like a
Well,
German
they
car.
stole the design. They literally copied Chrysler's design. Because the German cars didn't look like this until they got a hold of this design and then they copied it. So yeah, because BMW straight out copied this car with what the hell is that car? God, it's an old one. I think it's a pre-war BMW or post-war BMW.
Oh yeah, I know.
That stole this. I say coupe because I'm with two people that say coupe.
That's
because
the proper pronunciation.
It is.
They drive with their They drive with their pinkies out.
For all you Americans who don't know how to say foyer, like not American in the world can say foyer. It's not.
I say foyer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we always had foyers when I was growing up.
A foyer, yeah. A foyer.
Yeah, I always had a foyer. The 41 Plymouth, the antithesis of aerodynamics. So the 41 Plymouth, oh my God, it was a brick.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is this car 7 years earlier is 20 years more modern than the 41 Plymouth was. Well, because people were not ready for this.
No, they weren't. That's like we were saying about my car, how the dash lighting is antiquated when you look at a 61 Chrysler.
Yeah, right.
I mean, my dash is downright embarrassing when you look at a 61 Chrysler. It's like,
but I'm gonna tell you right now, we had to push that 41 Plymouth, and you know what? It was not hard to push. You know why? Because literally you're pushing a brick, like you said, the aerodynamics. But no, the back end is literally straight up, so you didn't have to bend over. So literally, you're just walking and pushing with it. So that was easy. That wasn't too bad.
No. So yeah, I found that and I thought that was interesting. It's like one of the weird, and the thing is, these cars, I mean, they're not many of them, but I don't know how, I don't think they're that collectible. I just don't think they have much value anymore because it's one of those cars where, I guess here that one sold for $190,000 in 2021. So 20 grand from rough to 100 grand. Nice. All right. So I guess they're rare enough that they actually do, but try to fix one of those. You want to go out of your mind, try to fix one of those cars. You're going to go, you will spend $150,000 to get that $100,000 back easily spend that much money on that car, if not more. So so that's just what, that's why one of the things, if you're going to work on, I actually had one of my videos, if you're going to buy something to build, damn well make sure there's parts available for it. Don't just think something's really cool and I want to do, and no, make sure you can get parts, because if you can't get parts, I mean, that's what my buddy's finding out on his 61 Chrysler. He's like, because he's done stuff to a Charger and then a Cuda, and he's like, I'm like, yes, this is much more expensive because it's a Chrysler. And they only made X amount of these, and nobody in the aftermarket is truly supporting this car. Good luck. I mean, thank God.
Dennis, they still stole more airflows than they have Charger appliances.
Yeah, or Charger 6-packs.
6-packs, yes.
The new Charger gas car is a. I actually saw one the other day. I saw one. I saw one
too.
I was so excited. I got to see one the other day, and I almost passed out. It was a 4-door too, which is absolutely, just new on the scene, as they say. I gotta show a picture of it. It was parked. I did the person a solid. I did cover the plate because I know they'd be embarrassed to own this car. I would be embarrassed to be owning this too. So this is the first one I've seen. I have no idea if this is I think this is the HO one, which is $60,000 for this thing.
I got to go back to the lot.
Yeah. So it's like 60 grand or more. The shape isn't bad. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. This hatchback thing just doesn't do anything for me.
It's
So.
just too expensive. I mean,
and it's way too expensive, and it saves the same chassis as the Cherokee S. Yeah, that's not good. Go ahead.
I saw one, but it was a 2-door.
Wow.
And did you see my man on the streets review last week of me going to the lot and actually staring at prices? They were all locked. And there was not even a salesman to help me. I was going to give him props and say, look, I was going to promote Dennis's channel here and say, look, I wasn't going to be nasty or nothing. I wanted to hear about it. And there was not one person who came out and saw me lingering around the cars, which is uncar business like you wouldn't believe.
And it was a Dodge dealership?
I went to, we had pictures up. Yep. There was about maybe 10 altogether. And like I said, in person, in that beautiful gold green paint job, which of course costs you an extra, monthly payment just to get it. I like I said, technically speaking, overall, I thought the look was pretty sharp in person.
Okay.
But the prices range from like 51-ish to one I saw that was $70,000. And I'm like, this is nonsense. If it was, let's say, 35-ish,
it'd sell.
It would sell. And I could say, you know what? It's cool.
So I've been watching the inventory because why not? I'm a sadist. We're about to take a little diversion here. I'm a sadist. So here's the inventory. There's 1,500 of them coming in. There's 11,000 of them nationwide. 2 weeks ago, there was 9,000 nationwide. They're not selling.
Oh,
they're not selling at all. And they're still making them. I mean, literally, they need to idle the plant at this point because that's a couple of years supply laying on the lot.
It's the Hornet effect. Same thing would happen with the Hornets. They overpriced them in the beginning, and then they couldn't sell them.
Couldn't sell them
now. They're literally 20 grand less in Canada now than what they were when they came out.
Jesus Christ! Well, they're already putting $5 grand on the hood of a Charger, so I mean, they're putting $5 grand on the hood. A new car. I've never seen that before in my entire life.
Now it's 65,000 versus 70.
Yeah, but I mean, Fluno, when's the last time you saw a brand new car have $5 grand thrown on the hood?
No, you're exactly right. No, I agree with
you don't throw. I mean, that's just not good.
That's year-end clearance. That's year-end clearance.
Yeah, exactly.
Rebates and 0% financing. I mean, you're got to get rid of it.
So don't get me wrong; these guys are greedy, but this has also got to be the effects of the unions getting massive concessions.
Oh, you mean when you give them giant raises? Yeah, of course it's going to jack the price of the car up. Where do you think that's going to go? It's stupid. That's why Hyundais are half the price.
Here's a theory real quick I want to throw out. I think you might have said it as well, Dennis, but I know Dan brought it up to me, and maybe others out there are talking about it is, and again, not to put the tinfoil hat on, but these ridiculous car prices on so many gasoline-powered vehicle trucks, what does it matter what it is, and they've been raising, they can blame COVID, they can blame this, they can blame that, but I wonder, is it a hidden cost to make up for their appliance mess up?
You have to. You have to. There's no way in business that you can lose $20 million on a division of your company that you're not going to try to make it up someplace else. Basically, everybody out there, you literally should be screaming at your legislature to tell them to stop the nonsense. Go to the car companies, tell them to stop the nonsense. The electric appliance is raising the price of your car 20 grand. All day long, twice on Sunday, it's raised at 20 grand. It has nothing to do with anything else. It has everything to do with the electric appliance losses. I mean, Stellantis lost $25 billion. What do you think the Charger's 70 grand? I mean, there's no way around it. They got to try to make money somewhere.
Our communist government just put they given $5,000 rebates again on plugins and
but the thing is, you know what though?
EVs.
You know what's so great about socialism is that it's all great until you run out of other people's money. The money, I mean, or you're just going to print money and go into massive
we've
debt.
been printing money, right?
Like, I know, just like we do.
Yeah.
No. Our national debt has literally doubled in the last decade.
Ours is the highest it's been since World War II.
Yeah. Hold the beer. Hold the beers.
Yeah. Literally, we're at the same level as the end of World War II when we rebuilt Europe. This is bad. This is terrible. You wonder why you can't buy anything anymore. Yes, it could be fake increases. Well, no, it's a real increase because they're offsetting the EV. But yes, it does make the regular car more expensive. I mean, it's absolute nonsense.
What did you say Ford lost overall? Like $6 billion on
20
EVs?
20 billion.
20 billion.
That's what they're admitting to at this point. 20 billion.
And they keep making them.
And they keep going. Hold my beer. I'm going to make another one.
And a new factory.
Stellantis, they lost $25 billion. Let's just keep making them. BMW has lost market share. Oh, we're just going to make some more EVs.
And man, you all know I'm a lover of the PHEVs, the plug-in hybrids. I think that they're absolutely great. And I've had hybrids now since 2012. So we're looking like 14 years I've had hybrids.
Yeah.
And they've been great. They've been like haven't had problems with them. You know, like, and the thing is, they've saved me a ton of money in gas, but I would never, ever go out and buy a full EV car. Never. I would never do it.
Because it would be stupid.
No.
You would, because if you needed to drive 300 miles, you ain't doing it. You're just not. You're not doing that in EV. No. Oh, wait, I love this. Gas-powered golf carts at Lowe's go for $13K. Yes. Have anybody priced a lawnmower lately? A drive-on lawnmower?
Yeah.
They're almost $3,000. Freaking lawnmower. I mean, it cuts your grass. I mean, there's nothing special. It has a
$13,000 for a gas. Oh wow, jeez.
For a friggin' golf cart.
2 years ago, I got a great deal. I don't even know how I did it. I went in, got a great deal on whatever, not a sit-on lawnmower, but the walk behind, self-propelled or whatever. And I got it for half price. I couldn't believe it. But the prices of them the next couple of years are just
staggering.
Insane. Like just for a walk behind lawnmower, it's $700-800 now. You know what I mean?
I'm actually going to be buying a used one because, if anything mechanical, I could fix it. But I need to buy a used one because I also going to use it for trailer moving because I have a place to put my trailer in the backyard. There's a whole thing. I'll probably have videos on it. So yeah, BMW's quarterly sales down 25%. Their EV plans are working great. Good going. Yeah. And then now they're making really ugly cars. So good going.
Well, they perfected a motor, so they might as well screw it up and do all kinds of other stuff now.
Oh, absolutely. When I was a kid, my dad bought a 63 Corvette for what a lawnmower costs now. Yeah. That's disturbing. It really is disturbing. I went into Lowe's. I looked at lawnmowers and I went, holy crap. That's a car. I mean, literally, that was like what you used to pay for a car. It was $3,000. I'm like,
heck, I just have a pusher, which is great. And I got it half off because if someone had returned it, it's a Craftsman. Works great. But if it wouldn't have been half off, it would have been for like $385 for a simple push, no features. That's all I need. You could be able to buy those for $85 all day long.
Yeah.
Good. Riggs and Stratton. They work fine for years.
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, I got lucky on mine because I don't know why. Even the guy at the thing said, we only have one of these. I think it was the end of the line from the year before.
Yep.
So he had like one left in stock that they were desperate that, they wanted to get rid of because the new ones were coming in or whatever, right? And it was different. So they cut it for me for half price. I'm just, I was happy. And
snowblowers and generators, same thing. Yeah,
snowblowers are crazy.
The generators went up a lot. Luckily I got mine last year before it started really skyrocketing because I needed a better generator because I do live in a place where we can lose power. So
you lose power quite often, really?
Hurricanes I will. Other than that, no. But I have a nice inverter, 10,000 watt inverter. I can run everything I need.
Well, I mean, you're not losing your freezer, you're not losing your fridge. You can watch TV, right? You got
hell, I can run an air conditioner too. So
that will do your air conditioner for the house.
Well, it could do the house, but I do it the Guinea. No, I have a portable, the one I have in my garage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That actually cools the house down splendidly.
But
It
I mean,
works
if you
really
if
well.
you didn't have central air conditioning going, sure, that's a
Yeah.
lot better than nothing, right? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely. I
yeah,
actually have two. I have two portable air conditioners, and it
nice.
can run both of them. In fact, I calculated out. Actually, if I wanted to, I could run my microwave. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. But as long as I have my coffee maker, I'm okay. I can cook outside, whatever. But I need a damn coffee maker.
Well, it's
That
for
that
me.
that's just.
I got a
Hmm?
freezer full of meat I don't want to lose,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
I have
right, right.
I have two refrigerators. I that
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh yeah,
have
I
them
got 2
going.
fridges too, yeah, but I mean, I got a big freezer full of meat downstairs
Yeah.
that, it's the only way you can afford. That's another thing too. I mean, you're talking about the price of trucks everything we get is brought by
Yeah,
truck,
Yep.
right?
yeah,
So it's all delivered. The price of gas, the price
yeah,
of meat has gone insane in the last couple of
Yeah, I've
years.
been
yeah.
lucky. I have Aldi because I'm getting grass-fed beef, 1 pound ground, that in a vacuum pack for sometimes $4.99, sometimes $5.99 for a pound. That's
Oh, that's
cheaper
good.
than Chuck
Yeah.
at Publix.
Yep.
All
You
thank
put a
God for
picture up
Aldi
about
because
it.
I wouldn't. I'd be
Oh
eating
man.
friggin' pasta and beans every night if I
I
didn't have Aldi.
I love Publix, but Publix is so expensive.
Oh, I walk in
They're
there
crazy
oof,
expensive.
I
I,
actually get shivers when I walk in that place because it makes me dizzy.
Yeah.
I
I'm so
I still
cheap.
shop at Publix. I mean, it's a lot of things are relative. I get it, but you're right. That's ridiculous. The meat prices are out of control.
I
But I just
I
rough it when the power goes out. I'm not that hooked up here. I'm not as highfalutin as you guys. I just have to say,
I'm
oh,
sorry. Hold on.
oh
Rooney
shoot.
wants to know what type of portable air conditioner. I'm gonna go look on my Amazon because I ordered on Amazon. They actually have
Well,
several decent ones. You need to get like 14,000 BTUs. You have to. It has to be pretty high. You get to get the highest they have because the portables aren't as efficient. A split is better, but I didn't want to have to go through the whole thing of mounting it and all. Because it's a lot of work. This is easy. I could just you know, move it if I want to. Let's see. Oh, is this one still there? Oh, cool. Cool. So this is one I have and actually works really well. Wow, it's gone up a lot. So here, I'll show it. So Rooney, here's what I have. I have and they're all the same. This is a Hummeled portable air conditioner on Amazon. It's 14,000 BTUs. It uses a dehumidifier. Works absolutely monstrous. Cools my garage down like in the summer. I can get it near 80 when it's 100 degrees outside. So it works really really well. This is and it's in this like just this is what you're kind of looking for when you're looking for a portable air conditioner.
And it
Has to
doesn't
have what?
it doesn't have to be like you don't need to put it in a window, right? Like
Nope,
you
it just
you don't
has a
have to have
hose. You have to vent the hot air.
because I
That's
remember
it.
the old portable ones that you used to have. Yeah, you have to vent the hot air out a window. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you just have to vent the hot air out the
Yeah.
window.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
what I thought. Yeah.
And then you have a drain tube. Like I have a drain in my garage. I have a drain outside my garage. But
Yeah.
like if I have it when I have it in the house for a hurricane, what I do is I have a bucket and I just have the water go into the bucket.
Yep. And then
You
you
just
just
dump the
empty the
bucket out.
bucket.
You
Yeah.
just empty the bucket out. Now it's really not that hard. But this is really what you need to have. Minimum is like 14,000 BTUs. Because otherwise it's not gonna be enough to cool a damn thing down. So this is literally something I would highly recommend if you need a portable air conditioner. And I like the portable because I can move it to different places. So it's been pretty good. And I've had to already use it in my garage because it's been in the 90s. And the other day I went in the garage, it was 86 degrees. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not comfortable.
What do you
I'm,
keep in there? Do you just keep your charger in there? You keep that
I
BMW in there
my
too?
BMW, my E30's in there too.
Okay.
Both my older cars are both in there. So I have the two cars, all my tools, everything you see in the videos. All my
Yeah.
tools are in there. I have storage. I have friggin' storage of house stuff. And all my welding equipment, all that great stuff's in there.
That's one thing I like, at the time. I mean, bought this house, whatever, 25 years ago. But at the time, you know, I didn't really think about it. It didn't bother me that it didn't have a garage. But over the years, I wish that I'd had a garage for sure.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
absolutely.
I wanted a 3-car, and it was a little disagreement between the two of us, and I'm still kind of bitter. It's okay. I'm working hard at YouTube. I'm gonna have a damn building. That's what I really wanted, is a damn building.
Could you add on another one?
No, I can't do a damn thing here. I'm in a friggin' community, so
Is it an HOA?
Yeah, and my garage only has 8.5 foot ceilings, so I can't put a lift in. It's too low. If I had 10-foot ceilings, there'd already be 2 lifts in that garage.
Yep.
2 lifts, not just 1, 2, because I literally have both the old cars up in the air and use the underneath. Just my buddy is lucky. He has a deep garage with a 10-foot ceiling. He can put a lift in his garage. I said, dude, don't even think twice about it. Put a lift in. You have 3 classic cars. You have a 3-car garage. Put a lift in. You can put 4 cars in here. And when you need to change the oil, you put it up in the air and you do it like a human being. You have it come down, and then you just do everything.
Rooney says, start digging an inspection pit.
Yeah. These are slab houses, unfortunately, and I know that water runs underneath that damn garage. I thought about that too. I also thought about how to raise the trusses up. I was trying to figure the engineering on that.
It's Florida. You can't dig anywhere in Florida.
And raising the trusses in a Florida hurricane house. Screw that. That is not happening. It would be more expensive than moving. Literally. So I just have to hopefully keep on doing well, and we'll be moving into a barn dominium. That's my goal. That is literally my goal, just to play with my cars all day long.
So you would move out of that place? You
absolutely. I hate it.
Not attached to it or whatever.
I hate it. I hate the neighborhood. I hate the area. I literally no sweat moving out of here. Trust me.
I thought Fluno was your neighbor.
No, Fluno lives 60 miles from me.
Oh, okay. I was wrong.
Yeah. I'm a little bit north. I have actually a detached garage, which is great, but my dad decided to make like different rooms out of it with non-load bearing walls, which I still haven't disassembled yet, which I could put the cars in.
You should.
It's another project, but
come on up with a sledgehammer. We'll fix it.
You know what? We need to just do that. Of course, now it's going to get hot, and everyone's going to be
doesn't
lazy
matter
about it.
I don't mind. See, I work better when it's really hot out, which is really insane.
It sounds crazy. When it's warm out, like last week, I did like about 10 plus hours of yard work over 2 days. Felt great.
Absolutely.
But if it's like 40 degrees, I don't want to do anything.
I can't work when it's cold outside anymore either.
No, you can't. No.
So I did a lot of work last week, sweating like a hog outside.
Oh no, I love it.
I got a fair amount of color. It was good. Felt good. So
come on up and we can look at it and figure out where the plugs go and stuff and get that ridiculous Continental in there.
Demolition.
Yeah. Demolition time.
I like demolition. So the last thing I want to talk about is because I've been trying to bring up more recent classics, because you need to start thinking outside the box, guys. Not everybody can buy a 68 Charger. All right, guys. Trust me, it's hard. Even to buy a 72 Charger, it's a little out of the range. So I've been digging around, and this is actually something that caught my eye. I love these cars, and you'd never think I would. I love these cars.
Really?
83, because every Guido when I was growing up had one.
Yes.
Every Guido had one, and 83 Buick Riviera. This is a T-type. So this is a turbo Rivi. So life's full of moments of redemption. The Riviera, one of General Motors' shining stars post-war, which the mid-60s Rivis are just chef's kiss, man. That is a great car. The Riviera, had a very bad 1970s. So then in 1983, they put a T-type motor in there. They put a turbo motor in there. And look, I mean, it's a compo looking car. For early 80s cars, it's not bad. You have the nice bucket seats. You got a little console. Of course, a weird console with nothing here. General Motors. Hi. And there's no denying that Buick Riviera was America's styling leaders in the 60s. And the luxury car arrived in 63, stole sales from market leaders. The Ford Thunderbird. Hidden headlights for 65 only added to the allure. That's my favorite car. The restyle for 66 was spectacular. Tempering the razor edge styling with design language featuring contemporary flowing Coke bottle styling. Heavy facelift in 68 looked good, but then the Riviera lost its edge. The 70 restyle, which was the boat tail, I believe, really, yeah. I mean, that was a cool car. Yeah. So Solution came next model with the boat tail. It was 71, I'm sorry. Striking style leader in the industry. It lasted through 73. Knew somebody that had one. Animal of a car. Upon the Buick stylist restyling the boat tail and what they called the 70s contemporary, which was not sporty electric coupe. That's what the state of Riviera was. Not to say it was unattractive, because it definitely wasn't, but it lost distinction. So in 77, they redesigned it again and downsizing. And this is the Malaise era, but this is actually something that came out of the Malaise era was this car. It was different than the LeSabres and the Electras. GM introduced the redesigned front-wheel drive personal luxury cars. Previously that, the Oldsmobile Toronado and Cadillac Eldorado's realm. But now the Riviera officially joined it. Built on a 114-inch wheelbase, the Rivi arguably was back in form. Its unique styling personal luxury coupe, the Buick Portfolio, available with the Oldsmobile V8, which was not a bad engine, or the Buick Turbo V6, which is weird in the front-wheel drive car.
Okay, I'll tell you. In between 83 Crown Victoria, when I got my parents' Crown Victoria, they had an 86 town car, and they actually got an 85 Buick Riviera. That Oldsmobile
style.
It had a massive sunroof on it, had the velour seats, the two-door, and that 307 Oldsmobile motor was absolutely pathetic. It was
the 307
slow, it wasn't
had
even
nothing.
funny.
The 350 is the one to have. The 350 actually was a good engine. The 307s never had anything. I mean, they were dogs. Even the 305s. The 305s in the 80s were. I used to race. Oh my God, with my 318 Charger, those Monte Carlo SSs that had 305s in them, and I'd kick their ass. In fact, there was a Facebook post on from one of the Monte Carlo things, having the taillights from the 80s, and I I commented, "Oh my God, so that's what the taillights look like. I've never seen them before."
Nice.
I know what the grills look like because in my rearview mirror. I mean, a 318 car would annihilate them. Not the best.
No, it was just so slow. It was really, really slow, man.
Look at this though. Only 1,300 of these were built in 83. So that's pretty rare. And it has the better engine in it because it has the T-type engine, which is a very well-built engine. Very tough. So, I mean, honestly, for a collectible, like these early 80s Rivies, even if you got the one with the 350 in it, it's still old enough that it's old enough that you could fix it, but it's new enough that it's reliable. I mean, honestly, this car is a lot more reliable than a 60s car. It really is.
It was comfortable. Like it had big plush seats in it,
like this
4-speed automatic. You know what? They even looked more are those the leathers? I can't really see.
That's the leather. Yeah, that's that soft butter leather they had.
This one had the velours.
Oh yes, we had a Cordova with the velour.
Yeah, it was like big old, lazy boys that was in like Uncle, Grubby's
exactly
Uncle Grubby's basement, right? With the well, you guys wouldn't know in Florida about basements, but with the
I do. I grew up in New York, though. I've had a basement.
Well, you remember everybody had wood paneling on the walls, and they were dark, right?
Yeah,
and they put a little bar in the corner.
Yes. Yeah,
and then they had the grubby old velour lazy boy that's out there.
Hey, those are broken in and comfortable.
It was comfortable. I'll give it to you. Like that Riviera was so comfortable inside. It was quiet. It was comfortable. It was a glider. They all glide. The they were front wheel drive though, I think, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're front wheel drive, so they didn't turn particularly well, but I mean, it was a comfortable car. I'll give it that.
So yes, the 20-cent Motors drove a T-Type in '79 when they first came out. Well, for a few minutes. But General Motors though, they actually didn't do a bad job with the full-size front-wheel drive cars. It actually wasn't horrible. The steering wasn't bad. It didn't have torque steer because of the way that they did the front-wheel drive transmission.
Didn't have torque steer because it didn't have any torque.
No, my uncle had a 73.
I mean, come on, man.
No. My uncle had a 73 Eldorado with the 500 in it. That engine had torque.
Oh,
I mean, seriously, that was an animal, that engine.
Yeah.
And the steering wheel didn't jerk when he got on it. I mean, they actually perfected that front wheel drive on the bigger cars where it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm not a big fan of front wheel drive, but I mean, honestly, if you put gun to head, it's like I'd want a full size General Motors front wheel drive car because it was better. Like the LeBarons from the Chrysler in the early '90s were absolutely one of the worst torque steer cars you could ever drive. We had one. We had a GTC, and I was going up a curvy hill, and I jumped on it, and literally the steering wheel almost got ripped out of my hands. It torque steered that hard. It actually ripped. Which way did it go? It ripped to the right.
The left.
Oh, to the left. I was going right. Yeah, I was going right, and it ripped the wheel to the left. Like it yanked it. I'm like, what the hell? It horrible car. But General Motors, because they used it was still the chain drive. I think at this point, it somehow or the other, it didn't. The way they did the whole front end with the half shafts, they just didn't pull the one side or the other. The Chryslers were terrible. All the Chryslers front wheel drive was probably the worst stuff you'd ever drive. Anything with power was just absolutely undrivable. So I mean I don't know how anybody drives like those the GLHS. I think they fixed it, but if you got like a Daytona Z or something, that car was atrocious.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they were
literally it would just pull to the left, and you're like, you're holding on for dear life into try to keep it straight.
The two worst I ever drove were a Sebring with a V6 in it because it was pretty punchy, right? And it just couldn't handle it on the front wheel.
A lot of torque.
Yep. And a souped up back in the day Mini Cooper S.
Oh my God! Yeah,
and
the Mini Cooper.
It didn't have power steering on it either, right? So, and this motor was punched out. It was like strangled as much out of a 1275 mini motor that you can get with the huge carbs and the head job done on it, and it was like 60 over. But the only thing you could have done to it more was blow it out, right? Like put a blower on it. But it was totally done, and you could not hold on to the steering wheel at all.
Yeah, I mean those cars. I mean, they were very narrow. I mean, they weren't wide either, so you didn't have a lot of half shaft on either side, and they were very light. And those two things with front wheel drive, if you don't have because the Japanese figured it out. I mean, I've never driven a Japanese car that actually a front wheel drive one that actually pulled, because they figured out how to balance the torque. But on the Mini, you have no place to balance it because there's nowhere. I mean, literally, it's like that the shafts are just long. So,
yeah, and he was smart enough. I say that facetiously, that he put a stupid wooden steering wheel into it. So there's like nothing to grab onto, right? It's a shellacked wooden steering wheel, and it's jumping out of your hands.
Your hands are on fire as it spins.
Yeah, you can't grab a hold of it. It's smacking your hands underneath because it's got those little, the lumps for your fingers. Oh God, it was terrible, man.
Yeah, it's a 20-cent motor. It's correct. Because I remember them coming out. The 79 ribs were jaw-dropping when they came out. It was like GM rediscovered flair and design. Yeah, I remember when General Motors, and that's the thing, though. If if you're old enough, you remember these things. Like when because the mid-70s cars was so goddamn bland. I mean, Jesus, except for Cadillacs. Cadillacs still stayed, and Lincoln still stayed, but everything else was like, what the hell is this? And then General Motors came out with their new, larger, mid-sized cars in the late 70s. and every cuisine in New York by the mid '80s had them. I mean, they were just literally that was the Guido Mobile. Any one of those cars, any one of those mid-sized cars was a Guido Mobile. The Cadillac, the Buick, the Oldsmobile.
Well, that Buick was the only non-Ford that my dad owned back then.
Damn.
So that'll tell you a lot, right? Like that,
Well, it was a
that
Buick.
Riviera, that two-door Buick Riviera was the only non-Ford car they owned probably for 25 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Buick, and Buick still had a name back then of, quality, because that was Buick's thing. That was what doctors drove. Doctors drove Buicks because, Cadillacs were too extensious. The doctor would never drive that. But the thing is, honestly, my uncle, who was a Mopar guy, but literally the one thing he would buy would be Cadillacs. In like the 60s, he would buy Cadillacs, like used ones, because they were, I mean, a used car was dirt cheap, but he would always buy
cheap.
like a big Cadillac, because it would just run. Yeah. It was and it was comfortable, and it would just run. It was, it's just the way it is. The only thing he had that wasn't that was he had a Tempest, a stick shift Tempest. That was
the little Ford.
No,
the
Pontiac Tempest.
Oh, that was a Topaz I was thinking about.
Yeah, he had an early 60. He had a 62, and it was right. That was the one where you smacked your hand, because of 3-speed. In third gear, you smack your hand on the dash, because literally the shifter ended like an inch away from the dashboard, because it was a real and the radio was right there, so you change the station as you smashed your hand into the dash trying to shift. Yeah, he had a lot of cars like that, but that was one of the cars that was just like, yeah, that was fun. It was said it was fun. It just didn't have any power. So yeah, but the Cadillacs had power. That was the other thing. A used Cadillac was, had tons of power back then.
Yeah.
But they were heavy, but it was still tons of power. So it's just, but the early '80s, when they started coming out with nice cars again, it was like, oh wow, those don't look like ass. Cool. Except for Chrysler, who then
speaking of huge motors, how much is gas down in Florida right now?
$4.59 30 at Costco it's $4.19. $4.19.
Yeah, I was just in Niagara Falls, New York, and it was about $4.50 there too. So you're right around the same price.
Yeah, and premium is over $5. Like, yeah.
I filled up both cars because one station near my house stays like an extra couple days lower, and as I drove around, I saw $4.59. So with my Shell gas card savings, whatever, I filled up both cars 2 days ago for $4.15 a gallon, and I dropped $75. But you know what? The very next day, $4.59. So
I had at 7-Eleven, I had 45 cents off a gallon. So
nice.
My ass went there and filled up, paying in the threes, baby. I was styling. I was paying in the threes.
Yeah, it's funny. I paid in the threes about 3 weeks ago. Somehow magically.
Yeah, I remember paying in the twos not that long ago. Imagine that.
Well, our monies were so little now. When I was a kid, you would take a couple 5-gallon cans and go to the U.S. Right? You fill up your car, you fill up 10 more gallons, and it would be worth it. Our
That's
money
fun.
was 90 cents on the dollar or whatever, and your gas was a lot cheaper than what it was here. But now it's not even.
Well, our money's not worth anything either. So because minimum wage was, what was it? 3/4. In 1963, it was what, 3/4, $1.25.
About $1.25.
Yeah.
Which,
so,
by the way,
but those were silver
today.
quarters. Those 3 silver quarters are worth like $100 now. I mean,
the melt value in it. Yeah. 100.
Yeah. That's what the silver inside of it is worth.
Yep.
That's how much the money has devolved. It literally is. It's literally kind of comical at this point.
It's funny. My cigar shop. It's funny you bring up the how level we were, because there was a time when my first retail store. I mean, this is like 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago. I'm not joking with you. We could actually, if someone came in, because I had customers who come in. I had a cigar shop, cigarette store, and they would buy Export A's and Players, Canadian cigarettes. And and back then I couldn't believe people were paying $3.50 a pack. You know, it was amazing. But they would sometimes pay in Canadian cash, and I could go to the SunTrust and they would swap it for me because it was that level. They didn't care. Think about that. I would take quarters all the time. I wouldn't care if it was Canadian quarter. It looks just like ours, kind of, sort of. And it didn't matter.
On it. That was the only difference. Had a lady on.
Had the lady, that lady on there. No, but no,
had some
no,
lady
really,
on there.
I would take bills. Yeah, somebody we defeated years ago. So that's the funny thing is I would get paid and I kept a couple. I swapped it out, but I'm thinking with my own money. But that's how equal Canadian dollars were. And my boss would be like, yeah, and the banks would be like, yeah, swap it out. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
You know, like I said, it's the last 10 years of just destroyed Canada.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I actually post 2010.
Yeah,
that's really what they. Yeah.
Well, as little long as 14 or 13, when I was coming to Florida, and that's when we were coming to Florida every year. Like things were cheap for us down there because you guys had things so much cheaper than we were paying for things, and our dollar was at 90 cents or whatever. So it was cheap, right? Like we were living like kings down there. But now, and even Mexico, I just in Mexico, and every time we went there, it was traditionally like it was 6-1 peso to the dollar, right? I just went down there and it was 4.5 to 1 to the Canadian dollar because their economy has done so well in the last decade and ours has done so poorly.
Right? Amazing.
So Horatius 763, always coming hard. The young Gindaloons in my era all drove Trans Ams and Camaros in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
I had a different class. I had a different class at Gindaloon in Staten Island.
No.
They would drive Monte Carlos. Like the poorer ones would drive Monte Carlos. They'd have Rivies. They'd have Olds. Olds. No, they wouldn't have Olds, but they'd have Cadillacs, like a Seville, a Cutlass. Yeah, they would have Cutlasses. Yeah, that's right. They would have Cutlasses, or the Cadillac Seville. That was a big Gindaloon car. That little the small Cadillac, huge Gindaloon car, So oh my God,
you want this for a Gindaloon? There was a girl in my grade. I went to a huge high school, and we have a large Italian population here. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of Italians.
I'll tell you why.
Her dad owned a lot of pizzerias. So talk about like typical Italian, right?
Shocking.
He bought her a brand new Trans Am with the 350 when they came out in the 4-speed automatic, and she's showing it off in the parking lot at school. She pulls out, floors it, put it sideways right into a telephone pole right in front of school.
Yep, that's about right.
It off. It was 2 days old. Wrote it off.
Yep. Well, and I can tell you why you had so many Gindaloons where you live, because they couldn't get into the United States. Because they couldn't get through Ellis Island.
Right at the border, right? So I mean,
because you had to know somebody. The thing is, you had to be established, and that's how my family came over. They had somebody here, and they knew them, and then they kind of, they went to New Jersey first, then they went to Lower Manhattan. So they didn't go straight to Manhattan. They went to Jersey first, and they said even back then they like Jersey sucks. So then they went to.
When you got a huge Italian population, you're going to a Catholic high school. Half the girls had mustaches like their moms. That's
well, come on. My great aunt had the nicest mustache. I was jealous. But man, she could cook.
We're lucky you're Italian, or we'd really be in trouble right now.
Yeah,
right?
it's exactly. I could do this all day long.
Nice.
Horatius is in Connecticut. Ooh. You get good pizza up there. You get really good pizza up there. Damn.
I actually went to the United States today for pizza. That's why I'm so happy tonight. I don't eat pizza in Canada. It's terrible. I'll go to those
really?
Spend $8 to cross the bridge, and I'll go to the United States and eat pizza. Absolutely.
Oh, there you go.
Damn, I drive like 8 miles round trip to get good pizza.
Yeah. I got a great place here, actually, 1.5 miles away. Pronto. It's outstanding. The guy's from Brooklyn.
Okay. Yes. My guy's from Naples, Italy.
Oh. Hey, next time you're up here, we'll go to Pronto.
We'll go to Pronto.
I think it's very good.
That sounds good. I've been jonesing for pizza. It's just one of those things. I get into these moods with pizza because I'm like,
yes,
I can use a slice
so
right now.
I've already been in your country today. When was the last time you were in my country?
I haven't been to Canada since 2000. Yeah, 2000 is the last time I was in Canada.
You ever been here, Fluno?
No, I have not. I never got a chance to go to my cousin's
It's like America.
lodge up there.
You're not missing much, buddy. It's just across the border.
It's like America, except they speak funny.
Okay, it's across the border, but not from where I'm at. I mean, that's
No, I
have
hear
a different. I have a different border I could get closer to.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
I
Georgia?
would love
Yeah,
to
that's like a
visit, though. I
foreign. That's a
would love
foreign
to see
country.
it. Yeah,
It's no different, man. I mean,
it
it's
really
not
knows.
like
America's
it's not like
hot.
going to Mexico where everything's different, right? Even in
Right.
Mexico
Oh,
they
I'd
have
love to go to
different
Canada.
cars. Mexico
Yeah.
they have different cars. I mean,
Yeah, actually, they have cool. They have cool
diesels,
cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
they
can
get
get them.
diesels from Europe. We don't get them.
Yeah.
here, right?
And they have a Stellantis sedan that we're never going to get in America.
No.
Oh my God, Rooney hasn't been in Canada since '76. It may have changed a little. It may have changed a little since '76. It could be slightly different. That's 40. I'm sorry, that's 50 years ago.
76. How old is Rooney? Holy
Rooney's older. Rooney's much older. Yeah. Victoria, British Columbia, worth the trip. Yeah, okay, I can see that's pretty.
The island is amazing. I mean, they've got these giant trees out there. It's absolutely gorgeous. He's right.
Lake Louise.
Lake disease, we call that. That's the venereal disease capital of Canada.
Cool. It's like the Villages in Florida.
Yeah, that's exactly what
we have
it's
the
like. The
Villages.
villages of Florida. Yeah, except there's young people in Lake
Wait,
Louise.
Rooney's almost as old as me? No, there's no way unless you went there as a kid, because I'm only 54. Jesus, I just have high mileage. I just have high mileage on me. Really high mileage. It's not a lot of mileage on me.
Road wet and put away dry. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
Ridden hard, hung up wet.
Yeah, I have jet white hair. I know that. I know that it's white. Oh my God, he's 52. He is younger than me, bastard.
Wow.
He was only a couple years old when he came to Canada. He must have been like 3 or whatever.
I remember Canada as a kid because I was like 5 the first time I went.
Where did you go?
What?
Montreal?
No, we went up Nova Scotia and that way. We went up
Yeah,
that way.
I mean, you
Nova
cross the
Scotia,
border,
Newfoundland,
it's just like
yeah.
made in Maine. You know,
Well, no,
it's not any
it
different.
had better lobster. I remember the lobster. I remember
the lobster's good.
The steamers because you could go get them at the beach. The Bay of Fundy's tide that was psychotic.
Yeah, I've done all that, digging for mussels in the Bay of Fundy and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rooney has hair black as the moon.
It's Grecian formula.
Actually, there are guys in the Italian club that think you don't know. It's like, did you just like use? Is that kiwi?
Yeah.
What color kiwi is that you have in your hair?
Right.
Is that kiwi in your hair? Because that's not a natural color.
Yeah.
Shiny.
My mother. Funniest thing, wait, it's totally funniest thing. My mother, when I started going white, it's like wanted me to color my hair because she was, being a little what's that? I can't think of the word. She didn't want to have a son with white hair. And I'm like, I'm not coloring my hair. I'm a man. It's okay. I can let it go white. This is not gonna. There's no Grecian formula happening here. Montreal was cool to go back to when you lived in New England. Okay, I can see that. Even though they speak coon-ass French.
I've been to a lot of places, a lot of huge cities all across, North America and, all down the Eastern Seaboard, United States. And I've never been to LA, granted, but I've been, to places.
LA's great.
Too. But I've never seen more pretty women than Montreal. I'm not from Montreal. I'm not claiming that's me, but I've never seen more pretty women in one place.
Well, aren't there a lot of Italians? There's a lot of Italians in Montreal, too.
The prettiest woman I ever saw was at a tiny little village with 2,000 people in it in Ireland. Took my breath away. Couldn't talk. Stand there like an idiot. She's like laughing at me. And then the guy I was with came in like 20 seconds later and did the same thing. He looked there. He went,
I don't know. I living in Tampa, I think I'm a little spoiled.
Yeah, well, you probably are.
I think I'm very spoiled.
I mean, I've seen a lot of beautiful women, but
then I vacationed in like Sicily, just slightly spoiled, just a wee bit. because there are some lookers there.
Oh, buddy, I went to they used to go to Daytona Beach when I was a kid for spring break.
There you go.
I mean, you want
Oof,
gorgeous
yeah.
women.
That's
Right?
classic Florida right there. Yeah.
It is
Driving the
classic
beach.
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, came home with mono one time. Try explaining that to your girlfriend and her mother while they sit there.
I got
looking at
mono
you.
in Daytona too. Shocking.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Are you
Shocking.
serious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I
man.
was sick as a dog for Christmas.
So was I.
It's terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was not good. The place is cesspool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so this has been entertaining, fun. Hopefully,
Yes.
I'll have
Always fun.
I'll have some stuff on the Mopars at Merritt's, because I've been working on that video slowly, because that was just 160 cars in the guy's backyard. It doesn't get any more freaking cool than that. Nothing gets cooler than that. The burnouts at the end, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Smoked them up in my car, enjoyed. So it was cool. So we're working on that. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always good seeing you.
Always fun and nice having a different perspective from a different part of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's always good. And but so and I know Fluno, we're gonna go up there and knock down that wall. We're gonna knock Ronald Reagan. We're gonna Ronald Reagan the wall.
Yeah, we're gonna Ronald Reagan it. We're gonna tear down that wall. Yes.
So that'd be kind. But
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
So
there you go.
But I'm glad this is our 50th one, and I'm excited that it's come this far. It's almost been doing it for a year now, I think, because I did miss a couple of weeks from being sick or whatnot. So it's been about a year, and it's great. And I'm not going to stop doing these. I have fun. I like the comments. The comments make me just absolutely laugh. I love. It just brings the extra. And I'll have another really cool, neat video next Tuesday on what I don't know yet, but I'm trying to formulate. I think I've seen a couple topics that I want to kind of pound on because it's kind of interesting. And I'll have a couple shorts coming out too. So
very cool.
Yeah. So this was fun. And tomorrow I get to work on a Chrysler 300G and try to make that run and have the owner scare the living hell out of me when I take it for a test drive.
Nice.
I can't wait. All right, guys. So with that, and always enjoy the stream. Thank you so much, Horatius. And bye for now. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Thanks, everyone.
Ciao. All right, so cool. And as always, if you have something fun or something cool, take it out because it will make someone's day. And it'll probably be your own, as I always say. Good night, y'all. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for watching to this point. And as always, if you have a cool car or something fun to drive, take it out. You'll make someone's day, probably your own.